but still really great game. So, but anyway, this is going to be our top 4 teams here. 9 kills. That's from 2 to 3 squads they were fending off against. 1,000 total amount of damage done respectively. I mean, they took up a lot of fights. A lot of utility was expanded as well. On top of that too, Shadow East was a little bit more on the quiet side, but they did ran into, due to circumstances. Circles not really the best positioning or compound that they have, especially with how the circles was currently shifting them all towards in as well. Flypad wasn't. They were somewhere in the circle, but how the circle was shifting didn't really give them a lot of, not really the best of options for them. But hey, still managed to get that 3rd place in here. It was still really great for themselves.
Yep, and here's the match leaderboard for Vega Esports. 28 points collected, and Unlucky 13 points. So that's the double-digit club. The only team that unfortunately was not able to score any points is Zanshin there with 0. So it's something for them to reflect on as they approach the next match. Hopefully they'll be able to recover from this 0-point match. But like what you said, right, 28 points, that's a big haul there, and surely they will further extend their gap. And what kind of gap? Let's check out their total leaderboard.
Wow, about at least a 19-point gap here at least. It's really looking great here for at least a really good start for Vega Esports. Someone had a solid foundation from night 1. The starting match from night 2 is really great as well. But then again, the night's still young. We still have like 4 more matches to go here. But then also at the same time, the same could be said for some of our bottom teams here, right? So 4 matches to go. There's not a lot of matches left because since we only have 5 matches per day instead of 6 here. So a lot of ground for a lot of these teams to cover here, to really try to get themselves, or at least put them in a good position in that ranking. Let's get to that top 8. So at least that day 3, that final night, you still have a fighting chance to get back to that top 4, depending on what's the plan, right? What's the mentality like for the teams here?
Yeah, but also to point out that Vega Esports, they are at 54 eliminations now. That is the most of them all, but I guess I wouldn't say it's kind of obvious, right? That's the reason that they are number 1. Sometimes teams focus on just placement points and maybe some form of elimination here and there, but for Vega Esports, clearly their focus is on okay, let's try to get as many eliminations as possible. We play from the outside the circle coming in, and that's how they actually played the Erangel match. And because they played from the outside coming in, they kept meeting with other teams that also gives them the opportunity to eliminate them and gain those points.
I mean, it's the same could be said when it comes to, if we're talking about the question tend to bring out can they bring that sort of firepower on a more consistent basis, right? And it's not just in terms of kills. You also want to try to balance it out with placement points on top of that, right? You can maintain that sort of consistency across all matches. You definitely will definitely the team that managed to achieve that definitely puts themselves in a really good spot here in the ranking, especially since this new format as well.
Watch party हो रही है, watch party.
4 weekends long,
Thumbnail
4
बना दूं
weeks
फिर
long
उसके बाद
here. So trying to get themselves at least
वो
top 4
कर
most
दूंगा.
of the time, really at least increase your odds of being one of the
Full
top
screen.
2 teams to be qualifying for that EWC 2026. But also at the same time, farming up those PGC points, which is going to be quite crucial later towards the end of the year.
Oh yeah, there's a lot on the line, right? Like you have the PGC points, you have the slot to
PMS
EWC,
points, yeah.
you have the PMS points, man. I believe this is the first time there's just so much on the line for one tournament. And of course, on top of that is the prize pool and the glory as well and all that. But just like the objectives themselves, right? I think this is the most on the line.
I mean, yes, a lot of things is on the line here. Definitely teams that we currently, especially from after match 1 for night 2, right? Sure. Last night, great night last night,
Let's go, सब बढ़िया हो गया.
Great match too for some of the teams. Pretty much no pressure for some of the teams, right? Vega Esports so far. Armor Esports is slowly trying to get their way into the works for this year. But in some ways, there's 2 ways. If I'm this team at least, or at least Vega Esports from this point of view, right? If I'm this team, right, I'm thinking about coming into tonight. How do I want to, or maybe even Team Unlucky or Team Walkless or GSW, right? If I'm this team coming into tonight, I just want to figure out how do I want to play this? how do I play this game, or what's going to be the philosophy, right? The first team of the thought is to kind of just carry on from what we were doing from yesterday, right? Those that was able to maintain that somewhat consistency. Some came online a little bit later towards the end of the night, not able to start off from match number one. I believe that's going to be the same for some of the teams as well, right? Like Army Esports, match one, match two, a little bit slower on their end here, but when we got to match three to match five, that's where we start really seeing the engine really going. Same goes for Alter Ego here. Although that same aggression is still the same thing, it's still pretty cool to look at.
Match
Team
2 is
Alaki,
started.
Team Alaki is still able, despite not
Let's go,
getting the
guys.
ideal position that they wanted, they still managed to make use of it. And that fight, that defense, was
There
something that
is
I
the
really didn't expect
match.
from him. That kind of hole against the two separate squad. That was a really great fight I'm seeing from them, match number one. But let's see whether they're able to continue to maintain that in our second map here.
And this is going to be a decent flight path cutting across the map, ending at the area of Hapo. So Tego is going to be a very different pace for these teams. It's going to be a smaller map as compared to Irango. So naturally, teams have a better chance of beating each other early on. Early on in Irango, we saw an early meetup, but it was quickly dispersed. But for this map, okay, at the very beginning, looks like we don't see any team clashing onto each other or any hot drops. So it should be a decent start, but because it's a smaller map, we can expect like phase 3 for a lot of big fights to begin.
Yeah. Speaking of hot drop, we might just see the one between Savage Man and Team Zanshin, though. A little bit spread out, though, but majority of the team is still within that respective city or that compound itself. Army Esports, they were the first team that dropped out here. No teams are going to be contesting with them currently at this moment in time. They should be pretty comfortable with this. GSW and ATO, we still see a couple of massive long dives here, and what a circle as well. Zen Esports and Team Newbies, they're definitely loving this alongside with ATO and GSW. Pretty centralized in that circle. I'm a little bit concerned because it's just not a lot of compound. I mean, not a lot of
Team
compounds.
newbies के लिए अच्छा shift है.
But the compound that's currently existing within that circle has really great defensive positioning here. So I think the teams who managed to drop with relatively around that area should be able to capitalize on this situation. Whereas the rest of the squad will have to probably take long dives. I think there'll be one or two teams having very similar mindset where, okay, we probably can't go straight through the eastern side. Maybe one too many teams will be doing the exact same thing if they really want to get quickly into the circle. I wouldn't be surprised if I see teams coming from the north or the southern side. A little bit more of a longer rotation, but it does seem to be a little bit more safer side. At least for some of the teams that's currently for the bottom half of the leaderboard here, who really needs to catch up on this here. But of course, there's going to be Irangos. Our stats for Irangos is going to be our winner chicken dinner for our match one, and that's going to be VG. Respective, decent amount of damage, pretty much even out across the entire team, right? No one really standing out. Amp, on the other hand, has always been more of that mid-range mid to long-range support player, whereas TD and Iron Boss has always been playing the role of that entry fragger or at least close quarter combat here. So the roles has been a little bit more defining from VG as like what we were witnessing for these past few matches. So pretty excited to see how well they traverse later as more matches comes in. Alter Ego, love to see the aggression. The very team that, by the way, this was the team that actually got first place in our last PMS last year for phase 2 here. So not only did we lose a vehicle, they also managed to get a nice knock on Gods. Can they convert it to the kill? Most likely, as they are literally just flushing straight into the mix. I guess they just had enough intel, the fact that there's just no other member of NRSG here. So that's going to be a nice free pickup for themselves here.
Yeah, another clue was that God was on foot. So...
Oh, wasn't there a vehicle that he actually shot the tire from, if I'm not mistaken?
I think it was going to the vehicle. But yeah, but he was running there. Okay, here's a bit of a replay from the previous match, which is MT, our man of the match. I mean, kind of obvious, right? Like, he came in with the most eliminations, which is 8, and a good amount of damage dealt as well, 764. And we saw him putting up a good performance as well, and congratulations to him as our match MVP.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying just now, right? He's him being the anchor, being the role as the anchor of the team, right? Just constantly putting necessary pressure in the opposing team, allowing his team to at least try to at least close in the vision here to try to force them out into all these tight situations. So it's really well done coming from Amp. We didn't see, this is probably the most amount of kills we saw from Amp here. Because
Cope up कर
yesterday
लिया
he
उससे.
wasn't racking up as many kills like those personally here. You talk about total kills, sure, but if you're talking about just like in a single match alone, no. I believe that's M's current track record right now. Like that match 6 was probably his most amount of kills done by himself in a single match. So it's pretty cool coming from him. But now Shadow Esports, oh, they somewhat had a really rough run in our first match on night 2 here. Although did manage to, with resilience alone, to manage to secure that placement for the team here, and also able to manage to walk out with 3 kills. So not didn't there wasn't it was not really like a total loss for them. Sure, kill points they will love to gotten more. I think on average they usually have like 5 to 6 kill points. On a good day they actually got like 13 points, and this is me talking about these stats from last PMS from last year. But at least today, let's see how much they're going to be able to farm for, or at least harvest for themselves here, because they're in a, especially in terms of the leaderboard, Sir Cloud, the 7th place. They're pretty much, they're in the top 8, but it's currently at that bottom of that top 8. I believe they would love to be in that top 5, probably even top 3 by the end of tonight, before they move towards that final night tomorrow.
But the good news is that the points aren't that different, especially in the middle pack. Like if you look at Shadow Esports, the team over them is just 2 points ahead.
Armor Esports,
and then they're
Alter
like,
Ego, yeah.
Yeah, Alter Ego is only 5 points ahead. So it's very, very doable still. Like even GSW is like only 12 points going. Still pretty okay. And plus we do have 4 games, including this one, for them to catch up on the points. So it's very doable for them still. But of course they have to get into business right now, because if not, well, if today is done, there's only one more day, that's tomorrow, and then the week will be locked in.
Yep, locked in here. NRSG not having the best of run. Night one was a disaster. Probably not what they had in mind. Match 1 for night 2, probably not the start, and now even losing God XP at the same time. Need to really find that good positioning for themselves. Don't get me wrong, they are not passive teams. They don't really shy from a fight, and that's really great coming in from them. But at the same time, they weren't really necessarily winning those fights, and that's been quite the detriment. They've been putting a wrench into their plans here. So 3 players into the mix here. Would have loved to have that 4th player, but they're just gonna work with what they got. Team Unlucky, on the other hand, trying to make a quick headway into the safety, or at least the sanctuary of the circle. They have always found greater success when they manage to get to that positioning that they like, and just really lock themselves down, entrench themselves in this case here. So in terms of course, travel, there's, wow, 62,000. All right. Coming from Runox.
And I'm looking at, there's actually 3 of his teammates there, so from Unlucky, with the highest travel distance. Yeah, so I guess, well, I mean, if one person travels, naturally the team will follow, right? Like, you don't only have that one person traveling all across the map by himself. But, oh, look at this, lots of damage at the trick from Alter Ego Esports. And the drive-by by Orca Terra took him out.
Yeah, Dib is going to get a nice pickup on Trick here. Alter Ego still trying to see if they can continue to chase the place. It looks like Orca decided to continue to take this fight head on. Initially, I believe they wanted to try to go for the fallback here, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. They try to turn things around here. But Alter Ego, who already initially set up shop first, would be having the initial advantage to really go for the spray down here. Dip, on the other hand, is just constantly doing donut circles, trying to rounding back to see if there's a better opportunity here. Gets a little bit more advantage point to try to see to be and play Overwatch to put a little bit of pressure on Alter Ego here, but Orca just losing 2 initial members here within this 2v. Actually, no, it's a 2v2. Seems pretty much doable, but we do have the fans of Fouls here pushing forward. Not going to be able to connect on anyone, but will be able to secure at least a kill point for the team. 8 HP, almost got knocked down. The headshot was not going to be coming through here for Alter Ego to get that third knock. He pushes forward. The headshot comes in from Dip on the other hand on C-Boy. And now Alter Ego down to the final man here. Orca, who initially was having the short end of the stick here, managed to turn things around, finding crucial headshots to win out a lot of these core fights, and forcing Alter Ego to back off.
Yeah, we are still at 16 teams. So if Queen goes out right now, then, well, it will be no place on points for him. So he has to survive for the team, and it's still going to be quite a survive that he has to pull out. There goes the two players of Alter Ego confirmed, eliminated, and points collected by Okatera just like that, just by driving around and playing donuts with them.
Yeah, no, the crazy thing about it is that the fact that Alter Ego was not able to get those kill points for themselves here. That one kill point was actually from, I believe it was from NRSG, one of the members of NRSG here. So out of all that conflict, out of all that exchange here, they did manage to get some really good knocked here, but the damage was just too significant here. They just have to fall back here. It was such a massive loss here for Alter Ego. Now they just the option that's left for viable for them, at least for this round alone, it's just so limited for them. It's just for a single core member. The newbies on the other hand, fortunately for the UAV, there's just no vehicle. There's no wheels left for that vehicle here. So gotta find another vehicle in the open plains here. Snipe Paul trying to keep it in check. It looks like Xiao Fang coming in to pick up their IGL show. So Show is not going to be stranded out in the open for too long. He did drop down a defensive smoke just in case for a decent amount of cover. So they managed to go for the pickup here. Should be able to bring it to safety. Oh, nice tag. Not enough for the knock, unfortunately, here. But coming from Team Newbies, Anarchy. This is the player that from yesterday, he was doing massive amount of damage, by the way. Both Anarchy alongside with Translucent. Both these two players was pretty much just going on a mad tear. Unfortunately, not enough to really secure like multiple team wipes here, but enough to secure for the team at least a decent amount of kill points to put them up in the leaderboard here. But ideally, try to get to that top 8. I believe that's going to be the goal for a lot of this team who's currently in that bottom half of that leaderboard.
And we have Unforgiven, and looks like the rest of Team Newbies, they are playing this a little bit safe, but it's okay. They have the high ground advantage. You can see teams rotating around them. Unforgiven again, tapping away with the MK12. Managed to hit one shot onto his target, but not enough. It's not that easy to hit past that window.
I mean, yeah, phase 1 to phase 2, right, is that kind of thing you don't necessarily obviously go for broke, right, or just full send it, right? I think you just very much just try to scout things out, see what's available, see what's the pressure is going to, where the pressure is going to be coming from, what can they take in terms of compounds, in terms of position, then just spread out, get more information, right? So far, like I think that's pretty much like what happened, like when we were seeing like from the POV coming from Okatera, from one of the members right in the car. But what a hit coming in from Unforgiven. That's gonna be Feven, gonna make him bite the dirt here. So that's gonna be a nice pickup. Can he convert it to the kill? I believe it's in the open area, right? When he actually dropped Feven.
Yeah, he is quite open.
Yeah, does he not have the angle? I guess he just doesn't have the angle yet. Or he's just being extra careful just not to be sniped out before securing a kill. I'm not too sure. We lost the POV, but there was still a really great knock while mid rotation is. But actually, although Team Newbie was the one that got the knock, Xiao Fang will be the one to secure the point for the team.
Here it is. UNC tapping away, but not able to hit his target yet, and now he will lose sight of his previous aim. And Jerry is just right in front of him as well. Looks like they're going to avoid this fight. They're just going to travel all the way to somewhere safer. But look at Oculus. Look at the spread. They're going to stop anyone who passes by.
Yeah. You get the beauty about this spread, right, is that although yes, it does come to risk, right, but it's the kind of thing where you're just able to cover more ground, like what I was mentioning just now, right? Just in terms in terms of positioning or compound, and just get as many information as you can while at least this early, right? Because from August's point of view, for the position they actually dropped this on at least the south side of Harp Hole, there's just no one that's going to be confronting them from that south, at least from that southwestern side. So it's just primarily just Armored Esports that just recently came in from a different area here, trying to get control of the circle. But now with the circle shifting towards that northern side, both Oculus and Armored Esports, at least Armored Esports, are currently already within the vehicle itself, will be making quick headway to get more position control. It's phase 3 right now. This is where we see a little bit more conflict here, since still pretty much an open area, this current location here. So everyone wants to try to get a really great position to hold out for sure. Newbies on the other hand, Still pretty comfortable alongside with Team Unlucky, but I believe the goal is also going to be making their way soon here. They just need to get a little bit more intel. They spotted Armor Esports, not knowing whether it's an Armor Esports spot, but they definitely know a squad just recently passed by them. Zen Esports on the other hand also within close proximity. A good spray, by the way, coming from Akosi Ray on the other side. It's going to be on AJ here, but AT is going to be the one to secure the kill.
Sichuan takes a lot of damage. Down to 23. He has to heal up, but not able to find a good space to actually do that. And he's been knocked down by Aljin bots from afar. And Namshao tries to seek revenge, but he's looking at
आर्मर
another
वाले
team. So
इतनी
they're
जल्दी
managing a
सेंटर
couple
में
of
दो
teams at the
शैक
same
खेल रहे
time.
हैं टू
That's
स्प्लिट वाओ
not good news for Zen Esports.
if zone favor करता है तब तो बहुत बढ़िया है
do still have the positioning for themselves. They're still within the circle too. But by the way, not a great spot to get off from. Algin bots instantly spotting him out. That's going to be a second knock coming in from Happy Squad.
Nice
Whereas on the other hand, we do see ATO will be able to find one of the members of Shadow Esports here. And now this is going to be a confrontation from that eastern side. This is what I was telling you about before, right? Where some teams, not all the teams will be coming from the eastern side. Some will be coming from down south here, or there's a little bit more of a longer migration here. But finally, we are interacting with the team that's coming from the eastern side, and it's going to be Shadow Esports going head to head with ATO.
Gamer.
Not far from them either. It's actually going to be, I believe that is
gamer
Team Zenshin as well.
कैसे हो भाई
But whether do they have do they have vision of them, or at least a scope vision of them? It's going to be a little bit of a different story. But ATO crashes in. Great aggression coming in from Jexy. Definitely something to be expected from Shadow Esports as they clean out the house for positioning for themselves here. ATO playing a little bit, doing a little bit of a safer call. Two members gets knocked out. Not going to further prep.
इनको स्पेस दे देनी चाहिए थी आगे ऑल्टो के ये दो बंदे खेल रहे हैं ना यहाँ ये ज्यादा अच्छे हैं ज्यादा अच्छी पोजीशन ये थी इनकी फोर्स हो गए वो होल्ड करने में
Nice use of a terrain there by Shadow Esports, living up to the name of being the Shadow and sneaking
देखते
up.
किस साइड का शिफ्ट जाएगा अभी
And now they have a pretty decent position, but this position will definitely change. Okay, all the way hardship towards the left side, and look who's in the middle of it. It's Happy Squad, all four of them locked in the middle of the current circle.
It was really great.
TN वालों को रोटेट कर
लेना
चाहिए गाड़ी नहीं है शायद पे
I guess you could say like at least 9
थोड़ा फक्ड अप पोजी में है ये लोग
10 games, right? Most likely with that kind of circle, it's definitely going to be shifting towards you. At least the teams could be well assured that circle is definitely going to be going to the southwestern side. If it goes to that north side, that would be like 1 out of 10 chance. 1 out of 10 games they will shift towards that north side. But anyway, great nade, decent harass coming from the north side. The kill is going on an absolute
शैक वाला बंदा मर जाए ना तो ये पुश करके शैक ले सकते हैं
the circle currently
एक
is.
बंदा
Team is fighting for
जोन टैंक करके
their
खेल सकता है
respective edges here as well. All being easily spotted out. Not a lot of compound or decent cover except for vehicles or small shacks. Now they're constantly just trading back and forth. NRSG finding some new life, and it's exactly what I was trying to see. Love to see it. Comes in, and they will also be the one that will be removing Orca Terra from this round.
Sneak देख लिया यार उसने जब करके.
Just got dipped down on the ground, and Kamal's will be knocked down as well by Iron Bots. Vega Esports now in action. Savage Man Esports now down to only Upchen and Lundun. Upchen Lundun. They are pretty much
बहुत ज़्यादा pinch हो रखे हैं लोग.
And more teams coming around the corner. Doesn't help the fact that they are on the outside of the circle now.
अरे boys.
Oh man, they're just choked out of options here, especially coming from Team Newbies here. Just too many teams surrounding that southern side of that circle. If we were counting Team News initially, we were looking at 5 to 6 teams just battling for control. Not a lot of coverage. There's a couple of shacks. That's pretty much why you see defensive sports coming down from Savage Man Esports to just increase their survivability here. Team Monk, on the other hand, had a nice head start. We'll try to slowly pin them at the shack. Savage Man Esports, unfortunately, will be removed from play here. Now we're slowly dwindling down to our 13 teams. Might be even less now as NRSG took way too much damage from BG. But what a spray coming in from Turtle. But before he could actually seal the deal, TD comes in for the save. And that's going to allow M and the rest of the squad to survive for another round. But Iron Bots gets spotted from the long distance here. That's going to be a DMR. Not just from the south, but even from the east. Too much damage. Thankfully, just in time to go for the revive. TD comes in for the cover to cover the back of the team as they try to go for the reset here. Rest on the other side. At least the center part of that circle, we have Armored Esports. They all saw the shack. They all saw the vehicle. They know
Oh,
for a fact
nice
someone is
nade.
there.
भाई उसकी पूरी
GSW,
शील्ड उड़ गई भाई.
beautiful ordinance, beautiful name. Just to be able to knock out Sync. Sly Fox coming in with the defensive smoke once again. Knows what they fully utilize it as well. And now initially they thought they were trying to prepare to siege Armored Esports, but now they had to worry about GSW. Potentially, if Armored Esports was able to spot this in time, they could actually try to sandwich Team Zenship and remove another variable from the equation.
And Happy Squad got the middle of the circle again. Man, this is looking real good for Happy Squad, but they have to make the most out of it. Right now, Monk with 5 elimination points after taking out Jaxi, the second place finisher in the previous round representing Shadow Esports. Monk now looking for their next target is going to be Hanzi. Asu saw it. He saw it. He's cooking up the snake, sending it across. Hope to damage, hope to knock.
Oh my god.
Hope to finish him off. And looks like not yet. Hanzi is still alive.
Oh, man, but really great stuff coming from Team Zenshin. They were pretty
civil वगैरह करेगा मतलब.
Especially we're talking about a lot of this. This is day 2, right? A lot of this team is really trying to
community guidelines
really try to get those points. And now even Team Zenshin coming to the fray, stepping up as well. But it's pretty much it's an open area, right? This is a territory that isn't super safe at all. It's very vulnerable. And very open, so a lot of teams just constantly just rotating by. You're going to get into a loss situation, a lot of fights.
Hello.
Which you're not very comfortable with, but you just don't really have much of a choice. Teams are literally trying to see to get flush you out, trying to get some form of control in any way possible here. And look at that, 11 teams. It's a by the way, just think of it this way, right, Circle. It's a phase 5 circle, open lands here, barely any cover, very open areas here.
तेरा फोन का वॉल्यूम फुल है बहुत कुछ सुनाई दे रहा था
it feels so congested for teams here as they're trying to find some form of control for themselves or find some kind of security. It looks like Zenshin, they just had enough. They just don't want to do this mid-range fight anymore. They can't draw it out any further.
By Vega
all this battle of attrition here is causing a lot of utility, a lot of resources here. And look at the kill feed, right? Everyone's just trying to find a way to get those knocks. Some able to convert to those kills. And some was still able to go for that reset once again. Everyone's pretty much just limping their way into that phase 5. It's an absolute chaos right now.
Oof. And the chaos will continue, especially with the fact that Monk is not in the circle yet, and they need to fight through Vega Esports. But Vega Esports, they're stuck between a couple of teams, including ATO on the southern side, and looks like they will go for it. And Vega Esports, empty, shut down with the Panzer by Kiat from ATO. And looks like Vega Esports did not survive the brick walls in front of them.
It's too tough. It's really so tough. It's because like look at the open fields in that circle, right? You got that 2, like especially by the way, thank you as we were waiting for the next phase, right? Look at the 2 open fields in that circle, right? It's 2 large open fields. Teams are like constantly on the outskirts here. Some will try to fight for control. The only one that's literally loving this situation is just Happy Squad. If it's still within them, yeah. If the circle is still on top of them as well, that is going to be a very highly contested spot. I'm not sure whether the team is willing. I'm not sure whether the team is willing to take that massive gamble and crash into that compound. It all comes down to what utilities is available for them, right? So I know for the fact, at least the team that's currently positioned towards that southern eastern side, there's barely any smokes on it. They used whatever they could to at least close in the distance, close in the gap to win out some of those fights here. Even Team Unlucky, I believe, just spotting both Sunnyside and Gonil, they have only one smoke respectively here. Not enough to make a smoke trail here. Monk, on the other hand, they were able to farm a lot of these kills, by the way, but it's mostly from long range here. It's an open field. They capitalized on the chaos that was ensuing as team was trying to find that much of control. They also have vehicles here, so I'm not too concerned of resources for them, but they are going to be running into the line side of Alter Ego here. Happy Squad, Alter Ego with the Panzer Faust will not be able to connect it. Try to get the knock. Queen finds one. Try to go for the reset. Try to go for the heal, but the Blues are just too close and 7 HP here.
Nice.
And they still will be able to secure the kill for the team. AD on the other hand, Zenshin, a long drawn-out fight, but they were able to at least secure a couple of additional kills for themselves. Looks like Alter Ego is going to be spotted up by Nikos. A headshot is all is needed to remove the team from play. AD still has one more member. He managed to reset himself in the shack here. RZ is also within the vicinity, but Sally doesn't have the ordnance. He doesn't have the nades. All he did to try to flush him out here. He would have to take this fight head on, close quarter. Might just have to rush for it. But will Happy Squad spotted out? There's a lot of commotion that was happening here, so I'm pretty sure some of the Happy Squad members had spotted out, and they did. An instant tag, an instant reminder to tell them, like, hey, if you think that we didn't spot you, we did. Now he's back on the ground.
And look at this, the zone is closing. It'll put pressure onto not only Zanshin, but also ATO. And he's inside the shack. There's only one way out of the shack. That is the door. So it's going to be a pretty obvious exit for him. And definitely teams will be looking at him. There goes RGRZ. He knows that somebody's in front of him.
Nice.
Spray coming in, and Cat will be eliminated. RGRZ will continue to survive, but then again, he's not out of it yet. The blue is behind him, and looks like RGRZ might just fall to the blue, and he will.
Oh,
really good stuff. Really good stuff. He decided to go down swing. He already figured that there's not a lot of options left for him. No smokes, no vehicles for him to get close. Alec with a beautiful border setup. Now the team unlucky. Back against the wall, no vehicles, pinned down from all angles here. And now Morris on top of that. Actually, no, he does have a vehicle. Sorry, I didn't know. Sorry, we're looking from sunny side up point of view here. So yeah, Godil still a vehicle. Can he get into the circle in time? Get spotted by CJ from Orcless here. Heading around about the sunny side up positioning in time to go for the rest. He's still getting tagged out here. It looks like Alex is also slowly pushing in here to put a little bit more pressure here. Zanshi gets spotted out naturally. Not a lot of option. That's going to be that story. At least that's the ending of that story was pretty much pre-written already here, so unfortunately. I mean, he could have succumbed himself to the zone, don't give any more kills further, but you know, he took a chance. So really well done. 10 on the other hand, Happy Squad, I believe they're the team that's the most comfortable right now. Circle's also still within at least half of the compound. Monk pushes in. They see no reason to leave a lingering team at the side of that edge here. Now they got full control of the western side. Happy Squad slowly making their way towards the center as well. Pretty much flatlands here. They still have some cover here. It's a phase 7 circle as well. But if once we get to that phase 8, if it shifts us towards more to the west, then it might be might be able to see a little bit more of an even playing field here, and that's what pretty sure like what Monk is trying to hope for here as well. They just had to bait it out. Now it's phase 8. It's going to be happening within a minute's time, so they're just waiting it out. On the other hand, Orgless, not sure what's the economy in terms of resources like as we're down to our final 4.
Happy Squad, this is their time to kind of move up, but they still have a little bit of that compound to play with, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's still pretty good for them. But even the next phase, they are forced to move all the way towards the left side. They have to cross this road. It's going to be pretty tough, but I'm sure they're prepared. They do have vehicles, and the utilities are well stocked up, so that's going to help for sure.
The only problem about this is that the thing is Monk is too alert right now. They're really hyper alert at this current moment of time. Game sense is all online. They came through. They pretty much very well won up. They came through a lot of fights. Went through, literally survived through the chaos. You capitalize on that chaos. Get a look at the amount of kills, 9 kills, and it's not just to a single player. Everyone was just picking up players from that distance for themselves. Do you see a mortar coming from Malak? Can it get some form of connection? Is coming down from the heavens above. Divine Retribution.
Nice shot.
Gets a vehicle, gets some connection. Not enough for the knock, unfortunately. Now he's trying to attempt reset the coordinates. He sees the connection, feels that it's great. Realigning it. Let's see how good is the second one.
But that was
Happy Squad being pushed forward. Looks like Happy Squad, they decided to not wait for the tail, but with the mortar! The realignment was great, and now throwing an absolute wrench to Monk's plan here. They came in with the best of resources, with the best plan that they have here. The choke out members of Happy Squad. Who would have figured out that Alec was not out of the game just yet?
Oh, and he can still save his teammate, CJ. Okay, but before that, pop a smoke while hoping for Happy Squad to be distracted by Zen as the pickup is happening right now. Happy Squad still with a full team. They still have the best chance of scoring this chicken dinner. They should be able to wrap it up unless a surprise happens. But Oraculus, they don't know that he's here, but he's on the outside of the circle, so he has to move forward and potentially has to cross his road.
But at least from where he's crosshair, or at least his positioning, because do remember this is currently TPP, right? So you get that nice opportunity to get another point of view, especially depending on which position you're holding out from, right? So seeing from where Oraculus is currently positioning in, right? So I think his only option is just mostly just Happy Scott, because as you currently can see, Oraculus is currently in a somewhat of a ditch here, or at least a descending slope here. It's not going to be very easy to spot them out unless Oraculus probably pushes themselves out further out to the open. Then probably we might see Zen Izo might have an opportunity to go for the tags here, but nope. Another snake in the grass, slowly crawling his way in. He does have a firm idea because of all the commotion that's coming in, but is he gets spotted out by CJ, and now we're down to the final 2 squad. This is something that we already somewhat expected as well. And Happy Squad having the man advantage as well and the positioning. Currently pre-setting themselves, they know exactly which position they are in as well. So they're now just trying to choke them out of options here as they are taking this really fantastic flanking position as well. Blues is going to be forcing them out into the open as well. But I think Oculus might just decide to give themselves to the blue zone. Not going to give them any additional kill points for the team here. I believe that's going to be the right call, and looks like Happy Squad is going to be the team to secure that winner chicken dinner. Fantastic positioning. Circle was favoring as well. They absolutely love the situation. You know, honestly, I thought this whole fight was going to be coming down to both Monk and Happy Squad. Who knew Alec being the sole reason for Team Monk's demise with fantastic with fantastic ordnance with the mortar as well. Really well done.
Yeah, and that's why he is the highlight player, ladies and gentlemen. But no chicken dinner though. It's okay. It did come up with a great moment here in this round for us. But the happiest team is going to be Happy Squad here, locking in this chicken dinner. And the moment we saw that circle kept shrinking on top of them, right? Until was it phase 7 at least? And even phase 8, they still got part of the circle with the compound. They were pretty sure to get the chicken dinner by then.
It was pretty tough to say, right? Because Happy Squad, they were already making. I mean, before the Moro actually landed, right? We already saw Happy Squad already making plans to move forward. They had two initial two players having forward position as it is, because they want to try to get in close to bring that fight to close quarter combat. What they didn't expect was the fact that the mortar assist coming from ally, the artillery support from an unlikely ally here. So that's the only thing that really changed out the dynamics of that final round here. So because Happy Squad, I think they were in their head, they're like, you know what, it's gonna be a fight between us and that squad. I don't know which squad is that, but that's going to be our final fight. That's going to be that squad that will be heading forward. So it was a little bit of a nice benefit that came for the side from that situation. But other than that, the rest of the team, some facing more harder situation than others here. But NRSG, they did initially lose some of the members. I love that they actually had a little bit more fire. They actually got 3 or 4 kills before they left.
Hello. अब है ठीक ठाक. Stream की volume और
the entire highlight we're going to be seeing right now is just teams just constantly trying to flush out another team. Not whether it's in the terms of ordnance or in terms of just sprays and DMRs. That's exactly what we've been currently just witnessing so far.
Yep, and of course, I'm sure we will see the mortar attack later on. There you go. That's a beautiful one by Alec. Yeah. And that indirectly helped Happy Squad to not worry about whatever is going to happen in front of them, and by then they can just focus on to okay, who's left, and it was just a handful of players at that moment. So congratulations to Happy Squad, and also thanks to Alec as well. They're gonna buy him dinner for that.
Unexpected ally, just a couple of high fives. Hey, thanks man, thanks for the assist, that kind of thing. But you see what I mean, even besides the moral highlight, you also saw 2 members of Happy Squad already pushing forward already. So they already knew okay, we just need to do an aggressive forward positioning, because that was gonna be the fight. They didn't want to wait for that phase 8 circle to force them out of the position here. They really someone understand, or at least in terms of their years of experience in the PUBG scene as a professional esports player, their game sense somewhat tells them, yeah, this circle is not gonna be favoring us for the 8th time here. So decided to take a little bit more of an aggressive position. I was very excited to see how they fight that final showdown. But of course, Alec coming to change the course of history here. But with that being said, this is going to be our top 4 teams here. Happy Squad, of course, coming in with a huge amount of damage, slightly about 100 points, slightly more than Team Monk here. Total amount of kills, of course, naturally it's going to be Monk, as they were really sieging their way into the final circle here. Not as crazy as to what we've been seeing from the past few matches, but hey, this is going to be our top 4.
Yeah, no double digit in terms of elimination points, so that's why it's not as insane as the one before. The one that Vega Esports scored 18 eliminations, but it's okay. That means that the points this round is well spread out, so I would expect that no team goes out empty-handed this time, unlike the previous round where we saw one team scored a 0. Just to confirm that, here it is, and yes, everybody at least got a point. What's interesting here is that Zen Esports, they scored 5 placement points, but no elimination points, but it still puts them up in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, really, just placement alone, because most of the kills was just really made up by every other team, like VG, NRSG, Orca Terra, because of how the nature of the circle, right? So everyone was really put in a position where they're going to be seeing a lot of teams much more earlier than possible. Some teams crashing to another team much earlier than expected, just because there's just not a lot of good positioning left here. Even the open fields, there's barely any forestry, there's only shacks left, but shacks has already been occupied by some of those teams. By the way, that additional point really helped Monk a lot to actually further escalate their points. If I'm not mistaken, like Monk was, they went up by 1 rank. They were in the 10th placing. That third place with the 9 kills really helped them to elevate to that 9. They're slowly making headway here, because like I said, the 9 is still young. We're only 2 matches in, 3 matches to go here. So a lot of this team just trying to make sure they get that nice, to at least get into that solid top 8, just to prepare for that final day. And I believe a lot of teams were also slowly making headway. Shadow Esports was doing it as well. Alter Ego, they did bail out early after confronting against Orca Terra, so not much points for them to earn from this match alone. So the rank is still will actually still remain. Actually, no, they did drop a rank from the 5th place to the 6th place here now. So Happy Squad, naturally, they were able to secure that chicken dinner, so that allowed them to elevate. I think this was a very massive shift for Happy Squad, because Happy Squad initially was 9 ranked. They were in the 9th place. 8 kills on top of chicken dinner placement, also they literally allowed them to fly up all the way to that 1st placing. And this is exactly what you were mentioning just now, right? How close the total score points for a lot of this, at least the teams within the middle ranking of the leaderboard. Just one good game just allowed this team to really just traverse that rank. But of course, to get to that top 3, most likely Happy Squad or Alter Ego, at least a team that's currently positioned around the 5th to 8th placing, probably gonna need more than just one chicken dinner to really like overcome that top 4 at least.
Yep. And you know what surprised me the most is that Savage Man Esports is currently at last place. I mean, this team is also one of those OG senior teams, and we have seen them perform really well in previous tournaments, so it's a bit unusual for me to see them all the way down there.
I mean, they have always been a little bit more of a slow cooker to me, at least so far. It's like they eventually, sure, they may not have the best night 1, but in previous match, or at least in previous tournament, they never really have the best of night 1. But usually night 2, night 3, that's when they really bounce back. But it's a little bit different now, because we only have 5 matches per day, right? And 2 matches down, not able to achieve a lot. So that last 3 match for night 2, if it's chicken dinners, then we might see a very massive shift in that leaderboard for sure.
Yeah, I know, right? So that means games will run down quicker than usual for them. So if they don't buck up soon, I worry that they'll be down there by the end of the week, and that's definitely not what they want. And I'm sure the fans out there will be rooting for them to make that big comeback.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But you know, August, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that's going to be it for our second match here. We're going to be taking a quick short break, but don't go in for too long, because right after this break, more PUBG action coming to you guys right after this.
Hello, hello, 1 2 3, mic testing, mic testing.
I am translucent from Team Newbies. We are the first Indian team to qualify for PMS finals, hoping to put up a good show.
我是台港奥赛区的 GSW YU， 请大家多多指教。
Halo, nama saya Ezar. Di tim saya dipanggil Gops. Kami dari tim Ato.
アンラッキー所属のサニーサイドアップです。よろしくお願いします。
प्राथमिक चिकित्सक किट
这是急救包，
Darah,
応急キット、
हरा गोली
5.56毫米子弹，
pelor hijau,
5.56、
तवा
平底锅，
panci,
フライパン、
मौली
燃烧瓶，
oli,
火炎瓶、
ऊर्जा पेय
能量饮料，
minuman,
エナジードリンク、
उड़न खटोला
滑翔机，
glider,
グライダ
BDSM
装甲车，
tank,
ー、装甲車、
headshot
爆頭，
pala,
ヘッドショット、
पेटी
空投，
drop,
補給物資、
चिकन डिनर
大吉大利，今晚吃鸡。
chicken,
とんかつ、
this is विजेता सर्वश्रेष्ठ टीम
他们得冠，
juara,
優勝。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Master Series 2026 Phase 1 here. I'm Len Osano. You're gracing me at the cast. That's going to be Sir Cloud. We'll be walking through you guys for day 2 or night 2, depending on where you're watching this stream from. Day 2 or night 2 for our Master Series Week 1. We're currently in the first week of the 4 weeks that's going to be coming towards you guys here for all the PUBG action, as we will be casting and seeing which of the top 2 teams will be moving forward to qualify for the EWC 2026.
Yes, and so far, Vega Esports is still holding on to the number 1 spot, but will that change in coming games? That's what we will need to see, ladies and gentlemen. Here are all the amazing players prepping up and getting ready for the next game, and in their own respective headgear, some of them at least. Very, very interesting to see their personality shown through the cameras. Like some of them have like these rabbit ears and all that. You know, they're probably maybe it's their lucky charm or something.
Could be, you know, or is that kind of thing where some people told me before. I had a friend who told me that they have like a safety blanket, yeah, something that makes it feel, you know, assured, makes it feel safe, or makes it feel really great, you know. But you know, everyone probably has that one item or two. Maybe you don't have it, but that's still okay. That doesn't make you weird or anything. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping right into match number 8. It's gonna be Rondo here. With a really nice, actually a very well balanced flying path as well. Teams should be able to go exactly where they need to go here.
Let's
a
go,
lot
guys.
of compounds, a lot
Match
of highlands for
number
the teams to play with
3
here.
of the
I'm not
day.
too worried about whether teams is going to be able to get to the spot they wish to go for. We didn't really see a lot of too many hot drops that we saw. Probably, actually, it was probably yesterday. The only time where we saw, I believe it was Happy Squad and Monk. They were on at the fast track location there. So that was the only time, but not much confrontation. The location was pretty much big enough to accommodate for both of those two teams. But you know what? We'll just see how well it goes. It's Rondo. The one map that so far, even for Alter Ego Day, it's pretty much a map they were favoring a lot, even in past tournaments as well. So, and since they were able to rack up as much as they hoped for the first 2 matches, this might be the one where they try to turn things around here.
Yeah, and like what you have been highlighting, right? Like this season, we only have 5 matches a day. So any turnaround, if it were to happen, it has to happen quick. I'm looking at you, Savage Man Esports. Like it's so unusual to see you all the way down there in the overall charts. And this time they'll have a good chance because Circle happened to be on the right side, centered around the area of Meiran, and Savage Man Esports, they start off in the circle.
Not a lot of teams in that location as well. So teams might be trying to contest. Some can try to keep at the edge of the circle. I wouldn't be too surprised. But you know, as usual, phase 1, just sort of get that information now. Just get that loot in. The map is large enough, or at least the compounds or cities is large enough to accommodate for everybody. So I think everyone should be pretty decked up before they move forward. But of course, just a reminder for anyone who's just joining in the stream. Welcome, of course. The previous winning chicken dinner from the or at least on the map of Tego was going to be on the hands of Happy Squad here. Didn't get the most amount of total kills. That's gonna be there in the hands of Monk here by just 1. But you know, other than that, still really a great game nonetheless. I'm actually pretty satisfied with all the fights I've been witnessing so far. Really great head-on fights, really well methodical fights at the same time.
Yeah, and this was one of the best moments here from the previous round. So Happy Squad came up with the chicken dinner, and our man of the match is Monty from Happy Squad himself, coming with 3 eliminations and 585 damage dealt with, of course, a maximum survival time of 30 minutes and 18 seconds. And I would say that Happy Squad, well, they played as a squad to score that chicken dinner. And I believe that none of them got eliminated in the previous round.
I mean, yeah, they had a really good compound. Circle was favoring them for like at least 2 or 3 phases through and through. And although some could say that, you know, even though you got a good compound, not necessarily you're going to be having a good... Going to be like a lot of teams not going to be able to crash it. It was very difficult for teams to actually get pretty close to Happy Squad compound. It was just flatlands, right? It's open fields, and when you're pushing into open fields, there's really not a lot. There wasn't really a lot of buildings for cover for them. So it was somewhat to be expected to see a lot of terrain for the team to play with. But of course, good spray. Looks like Vega or AJ was able to at least spot one of the members of Happy Squad, and that's going to be None. He's the only one here, I believe. Yeah, he's the only one here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back in time. If he gets a knock, that'd be great. But as usual, we see the rest of the members of Vega Esports. Usually, if one player instantly calls out that there's at least an enemy team nearby, you can definitely be guaranteed that they're going to be coming in as reinforced as possible here. Good knocks, good trade. AJ was able to get a secure for that tension. Unfortunately, didn't come in time. And a knock from a headshot, a much needed one as well. We'll be falling down another member here for the side of Happy Squad.
Oh man, Happy Squad is definitely not happy with that. After coming off a chicken dinner, now very early in this round, they lost 2 players. And Teddy will go in and secure the elimination point. Now LG Bot's in trouble. Oracula's got it. It's from Zen Esports. Oh no. That's what they call from the pan to the fire, my friend.
Oh no, it's unsuspect. I mean, I don't blame Happy Squad. It's so unsuspecting, right? Such a large map. You're not sure whether the team is going to be They'll be branching themselves further from the rest of the squad to scout things out. Just so happened Oraculos was just able to find another member of Happy Squad and also converting it into a knock. The worst part about being knocked down in the open, there's just no cover for you to defend yourself in, and there's no other option here. So that was definitely going to be definitely a freebie for Oraculos. Really well deserved pickoff. But then again, of course, with all the commotions that's happening, I'm not surprised at why Zen Esports wasn't pushing forward to check things out here. So they were able to secure a kill thanks to that, but also get additional intel that, all right, there's another squad within our vicinity. So much needed intel for phase 1. It's a good start. Probably not the best for Happy Squad.
But a bit of a stat recap here for Zen Esports. Looks like the player that came out with the most elimination so far is Oraculos, and he just bagged one more earlier on. Oh, Monty. Oh man, position compromised. But then Zichuan is in trouble. Only knocked down thanks to Kamals from Shadow Esports. But are they able to finish up the job? Maybe not. We'll check it out later because right now Alter Ego is in fight as well.
Good.
Oh, they were doing mid-rotation as well here, so all the Eagles were able to catch them midway here. Gonna get a lot of nice pickup along the way here. Much needed points as well, especially since they weren't able to achieve much during the map of Tego here. This is the third match. This is literally the third match of day 2 here, so pretty much we're just halfway through of the second day of the tournament. So they just need to try the rack out. Especially this is the map they're very comfortable with here. So now they're currently chasing him down. Not sure whether it's just a coincidence, but regardless, Gonil, you got to be careful. You got 4 members of Alter Ego hot on your tail. Whereas on the other side, looks like Very Esports will be finding Zen Esports. They are slowly encroaching to their position here to see if they can get some kind of pressure on top of them. Don't think Vega is going to be moving this from their current position anytime soon. It's a pretty nice safe spot within the circle itself. It's still phase 1, 2. So I don't think we'll be seeing much aggression coming up for them, as the name of the game is just to get those points out. M, as usual, the anchor for the team, the scout, slowly pushing forward here to get a nice spot to see if we can try to pressure out this lone member, and that's going to be Ken's. Spot the vehicle, but didn't really spot anything else.
And of course, one of the reasons why Vega Esports don't need to be overly aggressive is because they're on top of the charts right now and they have a decent lead. So as long as they can remain consistent, and even at this point, if they play for survivability with decent amount of elimination points, they could probably retain the number 1 spot by the end of tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's true. They are a team that's obviously can get the ball rolling, right? And most likely just secure all the necessary kill they want to, but first 2 matches.
And looks like Zen Esports will be visited. Oh, nice spray there by Kens. Get it up. And they immediately respond back. Oh, but it's actually from Iron Bot that responded back. Oh man, Vega Esports trying to secure that 3rd elimination point. And Ken's MT will get him. That's going to be the 3rd point for Vega Esports. They're still bringing in those points, but now they are put in an awkward position where Oraculos has good view of them. It's only the smoke that's blinding his view now.
Oh, but then again, although it's a nice position, but Shadow Esports, who's also hungry for points here, drawn in by the commotion here, they also understand that they got this nice high ground vantage point as well. 3 members currently repositioned themselves, relocated themselves to see what can they harvest from that situation. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find any. Zen Esports heard the vehicles encroaching their position, instantly made a quick getaway before Shadow Esports actually got into their lines of sight. So, really good reaction for this. Vega Esports got 3 kills. What a way to clear out Ken's as well. So that's 3 additional points for themselves. They want to try to see if they can replicate the same success they had from the first match and even yesterday's game as well. It's a great mode, by the way, really getting that chicken dinner for that match 1 with so many kills on top of that, right? It's a great motivational booster for the team, especially for night 2.
Well, after all that action, Vega Esports, they're still a full squad. 3 elimination points in the bag, so good for them. They are now at 94 points. They're 6 points away from hitting the 100-point mark. They're doing very well. Let's see Savage Man Esports. Hopefully they can do as well too.
Glider.
Trying to get that one knock, but it's not going to be as easy.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sure this is. I believe, okay, at least to me from POV wise, that's gonna be our first glider. I'm not sure was a glider utilized. I at least didn't recall that scene from anyone's POV that a glider was being used. But it's cool. That's gonna be our first glider coming from the side of Team Newbies. Just scouting things out to see where else they can go, because there's someone at the edge of the circle here. So once again, the circle did do another quite the shift towards the northern side. So, but they did manage to get the initial intel. So at least now I got a firm idea. Okay, there's which team or which route is somewhat safest for them to go through here. GSW on the other hand, still biding the time. Shadow Esports, except for that initial entry, currently positioning themselves in the previous position of Zan Esports here. Not going to be able to find none, but this is going to be their track record, and I'm not surprised. Even in previous tournament, always on the aggression, always looking, doesn't shy away from the fight. And I love that kind of thing coming in from Shadow Esports. Really well done, really top notch. Even previous tournament, able to always ensure that they always qualify for the next qualifier is always a fantastic thing here. But right now, getting that 8, placing that there in that top 8, but they're not really out the clear because they're pretty much at the same score line with with 3 other teams here. So definitely looking to further extend that lead. Alec on the other hand, finally we're getting that POV on Orgless. Been a little bit more on the quieter side. I'm not too surprised. It's phase 1, phase 2. So it's only on that rare occasion where we saw teams just casually running to each other. And speaking of GSW that we were talking about just now, barely got through the bridge safely here. It's going to be Team Newbies.
To win, start to win.
And GSW, so far so good for them. Still all right. Their focus is into getting into a prime position within the circle, and they got there. We'll be seeing phase 3 in about a minute 50 seconds more. So teams will need to be on high alert for that in case there's any hardship for the circle. But they're not really in the circle yet, but they're on their way. But no resistance for them coming from the southern side. And they can still play with a lot of prime positions down there.
Oh. Still playing around the edge. I mean, GSW someone understands, right? Like, you're not a little bit late, a little bit too late to the party to get to that center part of the circle. Most likely teams is already occupying some of those compounds, some of those really great spots. And it's a very safe assumption. And it's to be expected too as well, since team actually had that flight path, or at least some came much more early than most. So taking the safe playing around the edges, that's totally fine. It's also the kind of map where it allows you to play around those edges too. So pretty great for themselves. Zenshin still hasn't really secured that chicken dinner for sure. They did manage to farm out a decent amount of kill scores. And this is, oh, by the way, this is, I believe this stats is also calculated from the past 2 matches as well. Yesterday wasn't as much compared to today's. So that really just helped, that really just showed them like what exactly they're trying to go for here. NRSG on the other hand, haven't really found that foothold to really scale so far. They've been hitting one too many rough patches alongside with Savage Man Esports here. But the only difference was, at least Savage Man Esports, they had a lot more really great exchanges, but just haven't really found great fights for them to really secure for themselves.
And here comes more teams into the circle from the right side. Okay, now we get a good view of where everyone is at. Okay, only Faven is still traveling into the circle from the north, but soon the circle will shift. And so far, it's a good spread around the circle for all the teams. But it'll be interesting if it hard shifts towards Neox Factory, but no, it goes up north. So good for Faven. He just entered the circle. But he'll be bumping into Alter Ego.
It's just too many highlands here. There's still so many teams, 16 teams still sticking around here. Alter Ego, very nice spread out towards that northern side here. So you're gonna get that. You're gonna be getting a lot of great intel here. Unlucky Fever, you can't afford to have your vehicle spinning out of control, and that's gonna allow Quinn to get a nice freebie here for the team. Should be able to secure this kill for themselves. They had a really good control on the northern side, so no unsuspected team to be flanking them from the backside. Monk dead set in the center, exactly where they would like to be. Is it a very safe compound? Still, it's a decent one. I won't say it's really the best one for them to hold on, but it's temporarily good for now. On the other hand, we do see Orgless manage to hold on the ground. Team Newbie is crashing into the compound here. or at least, or actually, it's going to be August going to be crashing into the compound here, finding great success. Going to be finding Translucent in the process here, and Unforgiven as well. 2 core members from Team Newbies here. And now Team Newbies whittled down to 2 members remaining. And finally, we have Team Unlucky to remove from play. An opportunity, or at least a window of an opportunity, has been opened for GSW and Happy Squad to close in the gap in the ranking for themselves. Oglers, of course, naturally smiling weekly at the same time, because there's just a 6-point difference from Team Unlucky here. So this is a good time to really extend that gap even further.
Well, look at this. Vega Esports right now 96 points. They're 4 points away from the 100 point mark. And the closest team is Oculus, and even them, they're not at 80 points yet, but here comes Monk from afar. Oh, that's lots of damage there. He should be able to get it. It's going to be Anarchy down on his knees. Point should be able to be secured by Nikos or any party member from Monk. And that's going to be their first point in the bag.
This is what you call a point of desperation, right? Team Newbies ran to one too many teams, spraying down that car. The car can barely take any more damage, right? So just really no choice, have to bucket out there.
To be honest,
right flat out in the open. I believe they still have a couple of smokes to just buy some time, maybe set up a couple of smoke trails here, but just one member alone here. So Team Newbies definitely having their rough patch now for at least this map of Rondo here. August, on the other hand, so really just want to see and trying to see if they can backstab some of these teams coming in. They have a really great vantage point, really great. And where they're currently positioned in the blue zone, so it's going to take some time before they actually encroach upon them here. So they can still actually play around with their position for some time on that southern side. Rest of the other team, Zenshin, they got a nice place for themselves. Shadow Esports, who was originally position themselves where Zen Esports was there initially, still going to be pretty comfortable about this, but we do see VG slowly pushing in. If VG really want to get into that circle safely from the eastern side, they will have to go through Shadow Esports here. It looks like Ia gets spotted out. It managed to spot out Monty, and that's going to be the end of the run from Happy Squad, who suffered massive damage early into the round of Rondo here. Complete 180 from their chicken dinner from the previous match here. Something they didn't expect at the same time. But hey, you know, it's that kind of thing, at least once in a while, you have that one bad game. It doesn't matter whether you can recover from it in the next few upcoming matches.
Well, Savage Man Esports, they need to recover from many, many bad games right now, and they have the opportunity. Oh, one player from Okatera currently down. It's up to them to secure the elimination point right now. Xavier is trying to get it. Lobbing in those nades across, but then again, counter nades coming in onto them to stop them from moving forward. At the same time, they have to consider that the zone will close very, very soon. In fact, right now, the blue is just right beside them, and it will put pressure onto them. We're talking about phase 4 right now, and this zone will definitely hurt. But that nade, big one, onto Kunyit, currently down, and they managed to secure a couple of elimination points from that fight.
The problem about it is that Zenshin came in to steal at least majority of the kills that Savage Man was trying to secure for themselves. It was much needed points. Sure, Zenshin, that allows Savage Esports to survive a little bit longer into the round. Also new loots for them to take for themselves here, but they really needed those points. They were setting up for it to encroach upon them, but sadly they just easily get picked off. And with so much commotions that was being made from at least towards that southeastern side, and now it's drawing the attention of some of the other members besides Zenshin. Even Oculus is also joining in the fray, putting in the numbers, putting in the damage, and enough damage has been done, and instantly Trick will be the one to be the final nail in the coffin for Armor Esports, as their burning carcasses will be the only thing that will be left in this round for themselves. And we're now down to our 12 teams. They slowly make our way, or at least prepare to make our way to that phase 5. NRSG, it's been a while since they lasted this long into the round, and that's great, but they also need to get those points. Team Newbies easily get spotted out, courtesy of UNC with the mortar once again. Missed the POV, unfortunately, but hey, still a good mortar nonetheless. Hansi, on the other hand, Shadow Esports, they had a nice position towards the podium side as well, and a little bit of a vantage point before making their way into the circle here. So, they'll be able to get some nice pick. It looks like they were able to secure one for themselves.
And Zen Esports is the next team to be eliminated at number 11. Only one elimination point that they got here. And guess who eliminated them is Mr. Man of the Day so far, Alec. Got him. And now Savage Man Esports, we look at them on the right side. They have 2 teams to manage at the same time. Oculus and also Shadow Esports. Not in the best position.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Monk is
no.
absolutely loving this. Absolutely loving this, but definitely setting up plans to getting ready to encroach to that center part because there's still like a little bit of a highland, right? Their circle goes north later on for that phase 6. They need to have a couple of policies to how to interact with that. But regardless of that, that's a little bit more of a future discussion. Now we're kind of getting back to the matter of hand. Great nades trying to force out NRSG here. Back against the wall, or I guess you could say back against the blue zone wall here. They need to try to find some fate here to make their way through. The nade looks great. Flattens out Jing and Xiao Fang here. An opening has opened for themselves here. Can they make their way in? They did have a couple of defensive smokes, but they did draw in ATO. While the commotion coming from ATO, Zanshin also is joining in. It's literally a domino effect from one squad fight draws in all this team as they will fight for control for the western side. ATO decides to forego NRSG and focus on the impending team that's coming from their backside. This might give a little bit of breathing room for NRSG, and instantly courtesy of Team Monk is also joining in the fight. Team GSW will be removed from play.
And Loba secures another elimination point for the team and for himself as well, but he's not out of it yet. Another player is just right in front of him, rushing in with the AUG, trying to go in for the flank. Opponent very, very low at this moment. Loba shows up. Loba for the back. Should be able to do it. And that is it. Zanshin eliminated.
Much needed aggression. He understands the situation. He could have given time to reset himself.
Loba!
Eliminating one squad wasn't enough. He turns his sights to NRSG and will remove 2 squads respectively. Not solely by himself though, but hey, still a good wipe nonetheless. A much needed score here. ATO 6 kills. Alter Ego also hunting for all these kills. They want to harvest them down. He trying to go for the reset, but sadly the burning vehicle will knock TD down. They see an opportunity. They saw that track. They're coming in from the flush, but it's not just Alter Ego. Shadow Esports want a piece of the pie here, and they're also crashing in. Alter Ego gets removed from play courtesy of VG Esports. No more Alter Ego here. They survived one conflict. Can they survive the second one? But I am bot. It's not a bot player at all. He's on an absolute tear as he knocks down multiple members of Shadow Esports. One remain, and that's Hansi here.
It's so close. That nade did a lot of damage to Hansi. One more nade, and he should be able to secure that elimination point, but Hansi managed to heal up just in time. And Hansi evades that nade by showing himself right now to Ironbot. He'll respond with a nade of himself, and Hansi will finish off Ironbot. Ironbot not able to pull off a big clutch, but still, it was an amazing performance by Ironbot.
No, it was like I said before this, a lot of this, I'm very satisfied with all the fights we've been witnessing for these past few matches. Now it's just constantly back and forth here, just trying to outmaneuver and outplay the other team. It's been an absolute thrill for all the fans as well to watch. But of course, with that being said, well done from Hansi. I love the choice of aggression, right? Didn't wait it out, went for the flash, and instantly just pushed forward. He literally just made a silent prayer, left his faith to the gods, and he just charged right forward here, and it really paid off. And now Shadow Esports walking out of this situation with 8 kills on their back. Sure, limped into the circle, but that's, they did limp their way into the circle, but not only did they secure so many of these, all these team kills or player kills, they also were able to secure at least placement here. 5 teams remaining, 5th placement. If they can get top 4, of course, naturally it's going to be better. But now is the time to at least patch up their wounds and see how the situation currently is ensuing for the rest of the teams.
Oh, there goes Parape tapping away. Not able to hit his target though. But now he's moving in. Okay, he's moving into join up together with his teammates on the south side of the circle because he knows that more teams are coming in, especially for Oculus. And Oculus splitting apart right now. CJ looks like he got knocked down. And he's out in the open. He needs to be safe, but it should be enough space. I'm focusing on the Nikos right now. Waiting for a 1v1 fight. Oh, nope. His teammates are together with him. So they have the man advantage right now. Nikos shows himself, takes a lot of damage. And again!
I can't believe it. That is so dirty. That is so nasty, my God. Nikos won a lot. that changed the entire dynamic of Orgulous Siege currently at this moment of time. So now they lost at least partial control of the situation, but then again at the same time, Orgulous is still within the compound that's closest to the center here. So no matter how this circle shifts, right, Orgulous should be good at least for the next two, at least this current phase, and most likely even the second phase here.
Oh, and Xavier is pretty low on health. He's out of healing utility, so
he's out of everything.
Oh, there you go. Never mind about that. Yeah, and he's out of health. He's out of everything. Out of the lobby or out of game.
Yeah, out of utilities, out of smokes, out of everything, out of option, and like you said, now out of the round. But this also gives an opportunity for Shadow Eastward to push forward. Don't think he's going to be able to salvage much resources from the loot boxes or the remains of Savage Man Eastwards here. But at least they still managed to get at least a more safer ground for themselves. Not the best of cover, but this is something they can work with here. Monk, depending, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the current situation, right? If it shifts down north, I believe Mong already has the policies or at least the plan set up for them as well. The same could be safe for most of the teams. The only one that's going to be pretty safe is going to be, it's going to be Orkless. Not the entire compound, but still decent amount of cover for themselves to utilize here for this next few phases. Still going to be open fields or a couple of hills and a decent amount of forestry for the teams to play with here. So there's still some cover for the team to play with.
And now with the circle shift, doesn't favor Monk at all. They have the furthest distance to travel to get into the circle. But there's graphics here. Thank you so much, our observers, showing us the beautiful decorations around the battleground. But okay, as beautiful as it is, it's not a beautiful travel distance for Monk. They are getting ready right now, getting into their vehicles, planning their next move.
Gonna make a gamble. Don't think they're gonna be crashing into the compound. Still gonna be playing around the edge. There's a decent amount of hills to at least give them a decent amount of cover before they make their way towards ATO here. ATO understands this. Setting up, as you can see right now, ATO is somewhat setting up the defensive smoke to block the lines of sight from the direction of Orkless here. So they just allow ATO to just primarily focus towards Monk. This is going to be a fight for the control of the West here. Shadow Esports, I believe they're going to still keep their cards hidden for now. They just don't have the manpower, nor do they have the position to deal with the situation here. They can only just watch as the fight currently ensues. A beautiful ordinance being set, followed up by UNC to knock out Kia. A beautiful flank, and the nades are not stopping. Monk just says, "Hey, we don't want to take a gunfight head on. No, you guys got the angles, you guys got the cover. We're just gonna blow you guys out of the water here." So 2 knocks is great. They managed to trade things back. Now it's down to a 2v2 here. Trying to find even more angle. Mad Dog with a Car 98 gets a headshot on Asu here. And Monk is down to the last member standing here.
Nice.
Can this man pull it through in his 1v2? Lolba, the aggressor, intends to push forward to flush them out here. If they win this fight, they can recover the team here. But looks like it will be the hands of Setsuna for Shadow Esports to secure the finals here. And Monk instantly gets removed from play.
Oh, try as he might. But then again, the numbers just overwhelm him. Now we're down to the top 3. It's going to be ATO, Oculus, and Shadow Esports. And Shadow Esports at this moment, they're currently at 10 elimination points. The first team to meet a double digit, but look at the circle. Goes all the way out into the open.
Yeah, although Monk unfortunately will be finishing in 4th place here. They still left the round with 6 kill points. So this is going to be the second match back to back where at least they managed to get at least within the top 4 play, at least within placement points, a decent placement points. So still being consistent in that department. So the ranking should still be fine for them here. Still got 2 more matches to go naturally, but anyway, back to the situation at hand. Shadow Esports 10 kills, ATO with 9. They had weathered down storms, gunfire, and an ordinance to get themselves in this very position for themselves here. They don't intend to end it with that 2nd or 3rd place. They won that chicken dinner here. Orgulous is so far, the only problem about it is that center part of that area, there's just no cover. It's just an open field here. Teams are just intending to play the edge because currently at the edge of the circle is currently where all the remaining cover is. All the forestry, all the last tree trunks they can use for decent amount of cover. That center part there's just barely anything for them. There's barely any revenue for them to really work with there here. So this is gonna be it. Just that mid-range fight. Naturally, who spots who first to get the knock, then we might see the aggression that falls up after that.
And that's also one of the reasons why Shadow Esports, they're taking their time to get into the circle as well, because they know that there's not much space for them to play with. But nevertheless, ATO, they do have Gops inside, and the rest of Ogless entirely inside. So far, Ogless, they are in the best position possible. But for how long, that will be the question. After this is going to be phase number 9. No circle at all, and everybody will be forced into the middle.
Smoke trays are being set up. Ogless is going to be the one to make the first attempts for engagement. Nates are coming in, perfectly aligned. There goes the vehicle wall for cover here, blown out of proportion here. There goes one, there goes two. Look at the amount of nades coming in from Ogless. They're saying like, hey, you know, if Monk can come in with the ordnance party, so can we. Artillery is just literally flying towards the direction of ATO. And Mad Dog, thankfully, he's keeping an eye towards that eastern side. Gonna be trying to keep members of Shadow Esports, because Shadow Esports, they saw the commotion. They want to see that capitalize on it. But Mad Dog, they're not letting this get an easy picking here. Gets the knock, gets the kill. Now Shadow Esports down to the remaining one player. And I think it knocked down here, but I believe they should be able to pick him up in time. ATO can't push anymore. They lost the initial initiative for engagement here. But the amount of nades flying over, I think we saw like what, 8 grenades flying over to the side of ATO. That's absolutely insane. Now they lost all their vehicles. They will have to traverse forward on foot on the opening here. And CJ is looking to seal the deal here with the aggression. And look at Shadow Esports joining in the fight as well. Bolang will be the one to secure it. And naturally, Ogless will be the one to seal the deal. And this will be their second chicken dinner on their belt here.
Look at the celebration. Look at the celebration, man. He's like, yeah. Yeah, don't mess with us. Yeah. All right, give me the fist bump, guys. No need to boy hanging. Yeah, there you go, man. This is what matters, right? At the end of the day, chicken dinner or not, you want to have fun.
I mean, yeah, you know, have fun, but, you know, at the same time, get points through. You know, there's a lot of things running on the line. But regardless, it was a really great game. There was how the teams tackled their situation with the option that they have was also it was such a phenomenal thing to watch as well. ATO, also kudos to them. They were literally at the bottom of the ranking, and this is okay. I'm talking about like from just day one alone, right? Day one, they were around the 15th place, or at least 15 16, or at least, sorry, not 16, the 14 to 15th place. Now getting this amount of points on itself, 10 kills to add the boot. This is going to allow them to really scale up the ladder further. Sure, may not close in the gap as close to at least to the 8th or 9th placement, but it's a work in progress here. It's baby steps for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely right. Baby steps, and well, if we want to talk specifically about Oculus, right? Like, they are last seen at 2nd place, and with this chicken dinner, yeah, it definitely closed the gap between them and Vega Esports. Although Vega Esports this round, yeah, they did okay. They got in a decent amount of elimination points, but surely Oculus will close that gap. Not overtaking Vega Esports yet. If they can do well in the next round and Vega Esports does not, then there could be a chance that Oculus will go number 1.
But you know, we've been talking a lot about that top spot. I'm also trying to keep my eye on that middle part of the ranking, right? Especially the team that's slowly making headway. Shadow ATO from the 13th place, getting all these kill points, should be able to at least elevate them a little bit further up. Probably might get a nice upgrade from their 12th placement, probably to the 11th places. They got the placement point on top of that. Shadow East, on the other hand, 10 kills if I'm not mistaken, 10 kills, and they managed to get that 3rd place. So they should at least allow them to overlap. Might even be able to overlap against Alter Ego here. We might have to see this later on. But Monk, they was just. But like I said, they've still been pretty consistent. They were able to find those clears they hope for here. There's always like certain variables that come to the picture, whether it's Shadow Esport trying to third party from the long range distance, or artillery coming from Alex from Oculus from the previous match as well. But they still managed to at least be consistent these past 2 matches here. getting places and kill points on top of that here. So should be able to at least maintain their ranking or just a really nice steady scale up that leaderboard. Not a massive gap naturally, of course, but it's still an increase nonetheless.
Oh yeah. As long as there's still games and you have that increase every round, at some point you will get there for sure. I mean, even if it's not top one, if they got like top 3, it's still pretty decent, right? As well. But of course, if you can get top 1, why not? But then again, slow and steady wins the race, they say, right? So as long as you have progress, you get there somehow.
Actually, no, it depends, right? Like, there's the slow and steady win the race thing. If your opponent team is like getting multiple chicken dinners back and forth, well, yeah, it's a different story.
I mean, dude, don't burst their bubble, man. I mean, gotta give them some hope, you know. They're probably telling themselves in their team calls like, okay, guys, we got it. You know, as long as we get X amount of points every round, we're good. You know, don't burst their bubble, man.
No, they know exactly what's the game plan, so I'm pretty sure they're doing absolutely fine. But you know, with that being said, Sir Cloud, now let's clearly check out our top 4 teams, at least for match number 8 here, in terms of stat wise. Yeah, sure. Previous match in Tego, we didn't get to see the WD scoreline, but nowadays when it comes to match it, everyone was just looking for brawls, and this was not a lot. A lot of these kills didn't really came from the last few phases of the match. It was just a lot of more of a scaling progression from the early game to the late game. A lot of these teams was just really running into a situation where they just want to take fight, especially Shadow Esports. You can really feel their thirst, or at least their hunger for points. Whenever they see an opportunity or at least a couple of gunfight within the close proximity, they just kept going for it. Like what we saw previously with Zen Esports against Vega. We saw another situation up front against, I believe, against Savage Man. They just kept trying to look for those fights, not really diving headfirst into it, really still keeping their distance here, really evaluating the situation before they make forward here. So that's really great coming from Shadow Esports. But with that being said, Orgless will be taking that rank 1 as they're the winner chicken dinner, 20 points to boot.
Whoa.
Vega still holds the top spot naturally, since they were still able to earn a couple of kill points from that, 97 points. But Orgless still is at second place. Third place, not much change within our top 4 here. I'm looking towards where is our friend Shadow Esports. Now, this is what I was telling you about. From that 8th placing, 10 kills at top placement, they literally flew up the ladder here. Now they're 5th place right now. And it put them in a really nice spot here to contest for that 4th placing at least here.
Yeah, and right now, between Orgless and also Vega Esports, the difference is only like 4 points. So they're that close right now. One more good game by Orgless and they will go number 1 too. But like what you said, right? Shadow Esports has been in the shadows, slowly climbing up, and now they are 1 point to be in the top 4. Let's see if they can do well here, because we're switching out the map again and we're going to head into the Dusty Dunes, the large map of Miramar.
Now, the Dusty Dunes of Miramar, debatable. Of course, some teams will say debatably this is maybe their favorite map. I don't like this map in particular. I know Contra, he heavily agrees that this is probably one of the best maps between Erangel and Miramar. I prefer Erangel for sure. But of course, but naturally, there are teams that there is, just like how Alter Ego has great success on the map of Rondo, same goes for some of the teams on the map of Miramar. But since we only get Miramar, Tiger, Rondo is the only match where we only get 1 map per match with the 5 matches per day. This is the only time where if team that has great success in Miramar, this is the time for them to really start racking up that points. This is literally the 4th match of the night. The second last map, by the way, just to remind everyone as well here. So gotta rack up that points to solidify that day 2 here, because once we get to that final day of week 1, we're gonna close the deal here, and the top 4 teams to secure their PMS points will be able to secure for themselves here.
And you know why Contra likes this map?
Why?
Because he likes the final circle in Lost Learners.
Actually, we had, but you know, speaking of Lost Learners, we had a circle that was heavily shifted towards that south side of Lost Learners. Like, it was at phase 1. It was like right there. We were just discussing where if that final circle if it just kept shifting north and just keep maintaining Lost Learners, it's going to be such a chaotic fight within the building itself. But, you know, thank God we didn't get that. But he didn't really mention about Lost Learners, being his favorite map. That one I didn't know.
Yeah, maybe because I've known him for quite a while now. and we've casted like forever.
In the PUBG scene, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so yeah, there was at one point that he mentioned that Lost Learners, he likes a final circle, urban warfare. I'm like, no, I don't want an urban warfare. Everybody will hug their own buildings. We don't want that. We want an outright fight, just like how Oculus did in the previous round.
Okay, I will agree. Especially on the map of Marama, you really love that open playing field because Marama is a little different, right? There's more like hills and ditches, even on an open field, right? Especially if the final circle, where it's just like final 4 teams at such a particular part of the map, right? Even the flatlands, right? It's not really exactly flat. There's still ditches, there's still hills. Teams can somewhat utilize it, or at least just juggle around those kind of positions. It's still an interesting place to see for the final fight. But with that being said, this is Marama, the Dusty Dunes. Sniper is a sniper fest, or at least DMR long range sniper fest for a lot of these teams here. This is the kind of thing where you really want to try to get to that center part of the circle. You want to get that vantage point, get really great cover, because things can go really sideways where you just don't have enough resources. It's the kind of map where it's very hard to play on the edge for. I mean, depending on where the circle shifts later on, but most part of the lands here in Marama, you just want to really get to that high ground. It's so imperative for a lot of these guys.
Yeah. Especially with this kind of circle, right, where it's like down south and there's a lot of high ground around the southern side of Chumacera. That's the kind of high ground that you want to take. And if you want to take it, a lot of other teams will want to take it as well. So ideally, teams, especially if you happen to drop around that area, is to try to loot as quickly as possible and get your best spot at that high ground area locked in first.
I mean, okay, if we're talking about like positioning, right? Like if we're talking about, since we brought up like, at least location, right? The other thing we can also talk about is the Impala side, right? Of the map actually is like a lot of kind of terrain, like where you can somewhat, if you have like this, if the circle does shift towards Impala side, right? You kind of want, or at least the option to be viable for a lot of this to get that emergency drop off, right? To just literally land yourself on top of those highlands, those mountainous area, just slowly pepper, at least slowly poke out those teams that's gonna be coming by, right? It's a really great place to really start punishing team once you actually had a really great head start for. But I don't think we'll have to talk about it once, if we ever get that Impala location later on. So far, teams phase 1. It's going to be a very quiet round, and I was just trying to restock themselves. As usually, we see Zen Esports still maintaining that 2-2 setup. We do see once in a while that they actually really super spread out themselves here. I believe even from yesterday's game, we saw them really spreading themselves out pretty far and wide. But that's the kind of thing of a Marama, right? You want to just, especially since we had that circle where there's a lot of highlands, they spread themselves out really well done. Just get that intel in. Wouldn't be surprised to see the other team doing the same thing in suit here. Savage Man, we're still waiting for them to really bounce back into this, though.
But the individual player that truly bounced back is CJ from Oculus as the man of the match.
Does he need to bounce back?
Well, I was
Does he need to bounce back?
I was trying to segue from what you just said.
All right. No, the man has been on an absolute tear from yesterday's, man. I believe right now with 2 chicken dinners. I mean, it's not back-to-back chicken dinners. We haven't really experienced that so far. But, hey, this could be their back-to-back chicken dinners. This also could be their 3rd one as well. On top of that, that would be really nice for Oculus. Because they were really able to close the gap with Vega Esports. Initially, it was like a 20-point gap. Which is why like each round is so imperative to just at least get some kind of consistency in, right? Sure, you're not going to be able to overcome them, but create the opportunity to do it much later here. So it's a good foundation for the top teams. The bottom part, we did see some change, a slight shift for some of the teams. Orca being one of them alongside with ATO. Quickly changed it out for the 13th place to the 10. There's something nice to see. Orca actually went back down. NRSG actually managed to earn some points to actually get up to the 14th. It's not the best, but it's still, it's still progress, right? But Team Alaki looks like they're actually going to be able to crash at the 3. Not the best place to be. ATO definitely feeling the mode for sure, because they getting that nice adrenaline. They got that placement for sure. A lot of kills. Now the adrenaline's in the vein, and slowly towards the end of the night, looking to find some of this kill. Let's try to do a couple of pokes and harass as they can.
But Gops,
अच्छा try था
he doesn't feel that he's in the best position, so gotta move away. by swap location with Lopa. Lopa is now leading the charge, but it's more of just scouting where their opponents are heading to, and they don't want to bump into the same direction, so they take a different detour, and they will be focusing on to getting to the circle instead.
I
mean, yeah, it's a long road down here, so especially for some of the teams based on the flight path as well here. So taking a much longer migration route here. Some would say it's also the safer one, because most likely teams is already there to gatekeep them, right? Especially teams that has been prioritizing position wise. And speaking of position wise, Shadow Esports sets up pretty far from the rest of the squad here. Great intel, not trying to draw the fire. NRSG on the other hand, looks like they're going to be crashing into the compound of Zenshin here. Once gets knocked, the rest of the team try to go for the reinforced. Turtle will secure the first kill. Sig, no choice, couldn't find an angle to support his teammate here. No choice but to book it. It's going to be a free real estate for NRSG here. Got the one kill. Can they get the second one? The vehicle is smoking. It is burning. Tags are coming in. Knocks around halfway, but on the other side, AJ looks like with the Panzer Files find Jexy to get the knock. And now they're coming to go for the reinforcement. It's going to be a full 1v1 squad between Vega Esports and Shadow Esports. A lot to gain from both of these two teams here, from this fight here. And many teams to benefit depending on who falls here. Vega in particular. Vega with the fall here, almost and everything is going to be able to benefit from this. That's the first knock, and was able to translate it. They got the nice exchange for it. And now it's down to the 2v3. Jaxie's a little bit too far apart. Iron Boss is knocked down. AJ trying to go for the res, but Hansi is keeping him in track with the utilities. And Kamal rounding around the compound, at least the outskirts of the compound, to find that anchor to go for that pressure.
2v2 ho gaya pura.
And Jexy is down thanks to AJ. Looks like this fight will continue on though. They're not out of it yet. And another player is coming in. It's going to be Kamal's from the side. But Kamal's prepping himself up, and while that, Hansi suppressed fire with M249. And he knows that somebody's on his left side there. There you go. Shots fired. Hansi gets Titty.
1v2 situation.
Oh, the headshot. He's really trying to look for that headshot here, but thank God TD was not able to find any here. Hansi finds a nice angle as AJ was a little bit preoccupied to another members of Shadow Esports. And Vega Esports will be removed from play. Shadow Esports, again, the aggression pulls through, makes them able to secure 4 points for the team. Naturally, a rest is required here to bring up the full 4-man squad. But August, definitely thank you to Shadow Esports for knocking down one of the top contender, allowing August to close in the gap or even overtake it. The points difference between the two sides is actually just 6 points, something that August can easily achieve for themselves here.
Oh, and Unlucky was pretty lucky that he was not spotted earlier on. It's not too far away from the circle. In fact, he can just use the southern side in, and it'll be pretty safe for them to survive phase 1. And then they'll think about phase 2 after that. But speaking about the circle, we have 2 teams up north there that's not in the circle yet. It is phase 1 still though, so they can still tank it out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, circle goes to resort. Still a lot of high ground in this circle.
Yeah, it's slight. You can see a little bit of slight corner loss, Leones, as well. But I don't think there's going to be any teams going to be coming in. It's like you said, it's phase 1, or at least now it's phase 2. Circle doesn't hurt too much, so Armor Esports, Shadow Esports can somewhat take their time. Gets a reset later towards the edge. It's a little too late for them to really get to that dead center of the circle, because with so many teams, and with so many teams still alive in this round as well, prioritizing that positioning here. So no choice but the player on the edge. Didn't really get much option. Just need to try to capitalize on the situation. But of course, naturally the priority, get the res out from the Blue Beacon Tower. Looks like Armor Esports hurt that. Now you see, this is the problem about utilizing the Blue Beacon Tower, right? It makes this massive, it's like making a very clear announcement to any teams nearby. And now it looks like it might have drawn in the attention of Armor Esports. The stats did block the miniman, so I'm not sure whether Armor Esports intends to push through. It looks like they are coming in for it. We'll try to clear things out here. They heard the beacon, they saw it, they try to clear things out. Will not find Shadow Esports, as they will make a quick getaway. They already did the job. They already did what they needed to do. Now they just need to book it.
Oh, and now GSW? Okay, but there's a good enough distance between them and all the other teams around them, so that's okay. Oh, just to give a bit of a stat update as well. So it looks like Vega Esports just got eliminated. Oculus is still a full team in this game, so there is a decent opportunity that Oculus can overtake the #1 spot. Back onto Savage Man Esports. Upchen gets Aljin bots out of the way.
Nice kill. It's just one more to come later on if they are able to find better opportunities for themselves here. Happy Squad is not too far from their current position in time. It's GSW, by the way, we saw the stats from GSW coming in. One of the few newer teams coming into here, the Masters. Yeah, I believe this is going to be their first Master Series here, and they have been absolutely impeccable here, especially with the IGL show. You got that nice flair of both aggression and firepower, and of course, great call-outs at the same time to really allow them to get to that top spot. Initially, they were in top 3, by the way, in match 1. So far in night, but as we slowly get towards the end of the night, more teams are slowly getting into high gear, and now this is also night 2 as well. Teams are really stepping up. Even the teams at the bottom half of the leaderboard also sort of climbing up the ladder. ATO from the 13 players is now in the 10th. Monk still able to is still having this nice consistent climb here, still maintaining his position among at least the bottom part of the top 8 here. So it's pretty nice for themselves here. But you see how easily any of the teams able to just overtake the other. Just one good game is all they need. London gets a nice pickup on none, and now Happy Squad is down to just 2 remaining members as they were slowly making their headway through into the circle here. Definitely a rest is required, but will they have the chance to do it? We'll just see it later on. Savage Man Esports getting these 2 kills. We'll see if they can secure a couple of more, but get spotted out by NRSG right there. And this is the problem about Warama, right? Even though it's just phase 2, right, or slowly making their way into phase 3, it's just so easy to be spotted out by another team just from another highland or another vantage point here. So still a decent amount. Still the center part of the circle again. Wow. Result is going to be crazy for that fight later on. Team slowly making their way in. But highlights, I don't want to think about the highlights later on, Sir Cloud. It's just that's going to be another chaos. There's going to be a different kind of hectic later on.
Yeah, maybe this might go into the highlights here if UNC can actually get one for himself. Another attempt, but no knock. Okay, no highlight there. But it's okay. I'm sure he'll have another opportunity later.
I mean, it's rather difficult, right, with the rifle, with that range. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just, I'm just saying, it's a good attempt. Rico should be quite damaged by now.
Well, at least he repositions himself for a second opportunity. But inside of Patona, we have 2 teams here. We have Oculus and we have Shadow Esports. Okay, both of them needs to cross the bridge, and Mad Dog gets away. He's safe for now, but can't say the same for CJ though. CJ will be eliminated by Jaxi from Shadow Esports. Now, Oculus, they can play the gatekeeping role against them, but look at this. Another team's actually waiting for them on the other side.
Ooh. Decent trade. Zanshin has been a little bit more on the quieter side of the situation. Been trying to be the gatekeeper towards this bridge so far. If we can get a knockdown from Oculus, that would be quite punishing. It's a very steep hill to climb here, but thank God there's still one member of Oculus playing at the back lines here just to try to keep him in track here. Zanshin, RZ. So far, Slyfox has always been the one that usually is the last one to survive, but Akusi Ray has always been the more entry fragger for the team. It's been really great to see, especially from yesterday's matches on the map of Wrangle. Definitely a lot more comfortable for sure. It is a map has been here for the longest time, so seeing that kind of aggression coming from him is not too surprising, but still really great to see it. Great addition for Zanshin for sure, but anyway, Oculus seems like they were able to traverse the high terrain on the highland safely. No knocks, thankfully. But Zanshin is still going to be walking in with 3 members standing here, so that's going to be another. It's going to be a different kind of challenge as it is.
It was interesting the fact that Oculus got away from that. I thought that Zanshin got them locked out. But Shadow Esports, I believe they're still in Patona. So if they were to cross that bridge right now, Zanshin, I'm sure they won't want to miss out the opportunity to gain a few elimination points.
I think it's not a matter of whether they couldn't or not. It's just more like they just felt like it was a situation where there's still so many teams still alive, right? Besides Vega being dropping out much earlier, there's just too many teams, especially at this current phase of the circuit. It can be quite compact, right? Despite how big the map is, barely any compound. Most of the compound would have mostly been preoccupied by most teams, so they are taking the safer route. This is the second last map of the night as well here. So, as crazy as their firepower that they have been out administering to what for us all to see, they still don't want to be in a situation where they have a really terrible positioning here. Thankfully, August already had managed to make a quick headway. Initially, they should be able to keep them in check, but Runak's coming in with the Panzer Files. Looks like to be able to knock down an Arky and Translucent at the same time on the other cross. So the map here, Team Newbies and Unlucky contending for this ditch to make it their own. And by the way, this position is dead center of the circle as well here. So I'm not too surprised to see these two teams just coincidentally just crashing into each other here. But looks like Team Newbies will be removed from play here. It's going to be the end for their run for this second last map of the night here. Unlucky will be racking up their points, but of course not without a price here. 3 members were removed to secure this 4 points from themselves here. And more fights is happening on the other side. Turtle will miss the Panzer Files unfortunately as well. Hold out the CQC. Turtle K with a hip fight with the ADS spray secures 1. Kitty gets the second. Instantly gets knocked down by the Sword of Fear. Crazy Dog moving it in for the final pick up to see if he can try to finish off the team here, but couldn't save his fallen down ally. Turtle K will be removed from play, at least for now.
Oh, Faith, beautiful shot by Faith. Nicely done. Faith with a double elimination will finish off ATO.
A much needed finish here, but ATO, hey, still good fight head on here, but they get flanked all around here. So August, on the other hand, they now get the high ground here. So this time it's going to be their turn to try to keep members of Zenshin in check. It's also a pretty decent cover. You got decent heals, decent cover to at least protect them from at least the center part of the map, or at least the north part here. Orca Terror is not going to be able to spot them out here, but looks like Zenshin is going to be able to find Alec. He did set up the mortar here. Should they choose to slowly siege themselves forward here? Shadow Esports also able to find some kind of sanctuary to at least the southern side of the circle here. They did lose one of the members in the progress here, but still pretty doable. We have seen teams who was able to secure wins with just 1 member short or even 2. But GSW, who's having a very favorable compound. A compound that's probably going to be sorted out by most of the team right now. Alter Ego is going to be Simoy. Got to be just going to be scouting ahead here to see any impending team. You have Queen and Trick covering the north angle here. So Simoy doesn't really have to worry about any team's going to be packing him from the north side. Even the south, it's because as you can see for this, how this hill is currently traversed, right? So not much concern until someone reveals themselves here.
And look at this circle. And
13 teams, just a reminder, right?
Yeah.
13 teams.
13 at phase 5. Wow. Okay. But not all of them are in the circle, so we can expect a lot more fights at this phase.
It's crazy, right? Because Mirama maps is like, depending on where the circle can be far more slow. It can be a lot more of a slower place, since it's like, plenty of room for everyone to be playing dips, valleys, cliffs, maybe with a couple of like really nice terrain for them to work with. But now we're in a situation where there's not many compounds. Actually, there's literally just 2 core compounds, but the team already got enough intel that's going to be a team in. You could try to crash your way into it here, but control for the edge is going to be the priority first. It looks like NRS is going to be having a little bit of a run-in with both Shadow Esports and even Auckland. You do have one anchor playing on the backside here, but sadly Mad Dog right out in the open, get flanked from both angles here. Too much for him to try to go for the swing, but looks like NRSG, they can't be too comfortable about this because finally Shadow Esports has bared their fangs of the team, encroached upon them, wipes them out here. But not just them, even Happy Squad is also going to be joining them in soon shortly here. Now both NRSG and Happy Squad has been removed from play. 11 teams remain. August has already been getting the sound cue. Now they're slowly making their way through. But it looks like even Zenshin is also pressuring them from the north side. Now they're pinned in and forced into this battle of 2 fronts between Shadow Esports and Zenshin. Can they hold with the remaining members that they have here?
Yeah. And August, they will need to decide on who they want to clear off first.
Nice.
We'll check back on them later because right now, Jing with the long range. Now, Armor Esports in trouble. Oh, Dusky. Oh, he's in the building. So Jing does have a good view of them. Now back onto Monk, right in the middle of the circle. Armor Esports really close with them. But Armor Esports distracted with so many teams, including Savage Man Esports on the right.
A much needed gamble. I mean, they just have to take it, right? They came from the eastern side. That's like flatlands against teams that's currently having like vantage point hills or compounds for themselves. They decided to push through. Unfortunately, had 2 members knocked in the process here. Monk comes in to clear things out. They're not comfortable having neighbors in this current open area location. This is not free real estate. Only one person can have control for this. And it looks like Armor Esports will be removed away, courtesy of Asu from Team Monk. Now they got this ditch for themselves here. This next phase will somewhat determine which team is going to be descending a hill or scaling up a hill here. But certainly Orgless, amazing. They're juggling between these 2 teams. By the way, Orgless only has 2 more members. So it's literally 1 member alone having a Mexican standoff against a squad, an entire squad on their own here. By the way, Zenshin has 2 members. So it's a 1v2 there. Shadow Esports has 3, so it's a 1v3 on the southern side. Orgless is all that. This is not really a position they really would have liked to be in here.
Oh, not at all. And plus, the zone will close in about 30 more seconds at the same time. Shadow Esports is pushing forward, looking for ER. ER has turned back. Oh, but his teammate is busy with Zenshin. Oh man, it's so difficult to be in their current position. And Zenshin has them pinned down. And they have no choice but to beat Zenshin to get into the circle.
Okay, here's the thing, right? They can hope for the fact that Shadow Esports pushes a little bit more, like probably try to flank them from the north side, and that might draw the attention for some of the members of Zenshin or Katera. Gives a little bit of breathing space for Orgless to push forward to clear out Zenshin. But once that small display, oh no, he gets spotted out first. It's going to be the courtesy of Akusi Ray. And that was not his responsibility. That was Alex. Alex was the one keeping Zenshin in place here. So I guess Akusi Ray decided to push forward aggressively. Managed to find the back of Iya here. Now Iya's not there to keep Shadow Esports in track. More defensive smokes coming down. And Alex is planning to go out with a bang with the Panzer Fast in hand. It looks like that's exactly what I was mentioning before. Kamal decides to flank in from the north side, gets spotted out. Instantly a defensive smoke comes in. Orgless gets spotted out by will be spotted out by Setsuna here from a nice flank from the southern side, and it's going to be end for Orgless. There's one team that was considered to be removed from play, and now it's going to be another head on a different squad to be heading on here for this duel here. It's going to be Zenshin against Shadow Esports. A good knock coming from Akusi Ray. He pushes forward aggressively, gets stuck between the rocks. This circle hurts, by the way. It's a phase 6 one. Gets knocked at the same, gets also damaged at the same time, leading to his knock. And now Zenshin is also in a pretty much a little bit of a precarious situation with 1 member standing. Unlucky we didn't get to see the final outcome for the remaining members here. But that's going to be another team. The top 4 teams, basically, all 4 members will be removed from play. GSW sees an opportunity alongside with Alter Ego and Monk to close in the gap here to overthrow the top 4, or at least the top 3 ranking, or at least, sorry, not top, yeah, at least the 3rd and 4th placing ranking here.
But good news for Savage Man Esports. Right now, they are part of the top 7. Significant improvement for them this round. But let's see if they can make good use of this current situation. But it's not going to be easy for them. Look at this. Oh, it's harder for Monk as well. Monk now sandwiched between 2 teams, including Zen Esports behind them.
Oh, it's a kill box. It's a kill zone at this current moment of time. Zen Esports pushing forward. Savage Man as well. This is probably just very similar to Orgless situation. This is a ditch where I'll just naturally receive all those ordnance, all those utilities for free here. They're stuck in a bowl here. It's a kill zone that you do not want to be in here. So Zen Esports definitely intends to clear that out as much as possible here. And they still have a lot of ordnance to use as well here. So blue zone grenades, they got a nice revive here. Nico's going to make use of the defensive spot that they set to try to push in to be aggressively, but easily gets spotted out by Savage Man here. So difficult to push up to siege from either side of the high grounds here. More nades flying in. Asu is just eating it. There's just nothing much there's really nothing he can do except to just eat all of this ordnance. More still flying in. There's still more in the hands of Zen Esports as well. Lulu managed to go for the revives. So now Savage Man is back in full. ATO, oh, sorry, not ATO. Orca Terra managed to spot out some of the members of Savage Man Esports. That's pretty much why we saw one of the knocks coming in on Lun here. So there might be a little bit of an opening, but Nam Xiao decided to push in aggressively. He wants to clear out house here. But instantly Asu says, nope! My life is not free to take here. I will go down swinging. He gets a knock. Lulun comes in for the clear on the remaining members of Zen Esports here. One still stands, and that's Ken's here. The responsibility falls on Ken's in his 1v3 to bring back the team here. But Savage Man, they have the numbers, they have the advantage. They push us forward here. No order, there's an upchen here, sadly to try to flush them out here. But he's hearing a lot of movements in the smoke here, so someone is definitely in there here. A knock on upchen courtesy of Orca Terra. And now it comes down to upchen to clear this out by himself. He will fight him, eliminate the Zen Esports, and Savage Man will be walking out with 8 kills on their belt. And now we're down to the final 3.
Savage Man Esports on the rise, ladies and gentlemen. 8 elimination points in the pocket right now, but they only have 2 players left. Orca Terra has a full squad with 5 elimination points. They are in the best position to lock in this chicken dinner. They're on the other side of the road, though. We still have phase number 8. And there's a big chance that the circle will go right in the middle, out in the open, in the middle of the road.
The problem right now is that even at the edge of that circle, GSW still has a little bit of a vantage point, or at least a decent hill for them to play with here. Orca Terra has to traverse through the roadside. We'll eventually find Savage Man eventually on the long side in that ditch that was pretty much hosting the 2 teams, the resting place of both Zen Esports and Monk.
Orca Terra, right now, they managed to slide into the circle.
Yeah.
Savage Man Esports not too far away for it. The one that needs to move forward is going to be Jing for GSW. And he has to leave his high ground. By the time he goes down, he will expose himself to upchen or maybe even Teroka.
It really comes down to who spots who first at this moment of time. Yeah, GSW, it's the lone man. By the way, it's just Jing, right? It's just Jing. So as long as either Orca Terra or Savage Man starts the fight first, that just might be the opening Jing might be looking for to try to relocate himself here. But that's pretty much why you see Hafiz having a more forward position, right? They already knew at least that western side, except the north. That's the only part they have full control for. So Hafiz is just going to be the guy to just give any sound cue over. He has any audio cue or sound cue to relate to the team, like, hey, they're pushing forward, or they're playing within the vicinity, need support, comes in for that CQC, coming for the cleanup. They have the man advantage. They can't afford to drag this out into a 1v1. Not when they have all these members on optional for them here. They can't afford it.
He's creating the smoke bridge, but then again, because of that smoke bridge, his position is known. But that's the best way for him to get into the circle. Okay, there's a rock right in front of him. Can he get there just in time? Yes, he will. But just as when he arrived, Lun took him out. 7 eliminations for Lun now.
It's a really good read coming from Lun as well. He saw the smoke trails coming from JJ. He's already preset for it. He really knew the priority coming for the man was just to get to that rock, right? So and the grows out to close quarters not going to be an issue for him. He's hyper alert with that 7 kill to boot. Now he's in the same situation with Alex with the 7 kills going one of the matches here. We might see even more. But we just have to see how the situation turns out for them. Orca Terra comes in, crashing into the compound. And upchen unbelievably setting up with Lulu to have a crossfire setup here will wipe out half of Orca Terra's squad. How did this game turn around so much on their end here? Unbelievably, a 2v4 and suddenly became a 1v2 here. And now Savage Man Esports making things very loud and clear. They are going down. They're definitely not going down without a fight. They won this win. They won this chicken dinner. And they are going to look for it.
And it's going to be Dim's final player for Orca Terra. He does have the high ground advantage against Lun. Is he going to pull the trigger first? The smoke is blinding him though. And Lun navigating around, trying to get up to the same level of play. While upchen behind will provide support from behind. Where is he going to go right now? The blue will force him to move anyway soon. He has to decide. He has to pick his poison right now. What is he going to do?
Just buying time. Time is on their side, basically. In this case, Savage Man Esports, time is definitely on their side. It's going to be forced out in the open. All that matters, just waiting for him right out in the open, and that was it. Savage Man Esports, finally, after a massive drought for 9 matches through, finally the rain has come, and they've been quenched. Their thirst has been quenched. A chicken dinner on top with multiple kills. A much needed one for the second last match of night 2 here. Really well done for Savage Man Esports.
Last match.
Oh man, that took them a while, but they still have the games. They still can catch top 4 at least, and they will not go down without a fight. The OG team of Savage Man Esports is back, ladies and gentlemen. This time with the chicken dinner inside of Miramar, and it's the duo Lundun and Upchen that brought them that chicken dinner.
Yeah, a lot of the highlights we're going to be witnessing, except from this one, this earlier, I think this was the only first fatality we actually experienced in the first phase and second phase. We're going to be seeing a lot more highlights, going to be shifting towards a lot more towards that phase 3 and phase 4, because it was a very slow-paced map. Everyone was just trying to be as safe as much as possible. We had skirmishes here and there, but now this is what I'm talking about, right? Once we get to that phase 4, teams start really trying to occupy positions for themselves, core position for that later fight. It could have been anyone's game. We didn't know. Most of the team couldn't really gamble it or banked it on the fact that the circle's going to favor them or go to another compound. This is Miramar. It's literally just hills and open fields here. Teams just constantly being third party or being backstab here is a common thing here on the map of Miramar here. That's exactly what we've been seeing against Shadow East for NRSG. It was just teams after teams, bodies piling upon bodies for control here. And GSW really had a really hard for win. I think even for August, they were really sandwiched in between 2 separate squads with just 2 members really insane. Monk was also experiencing a very similar scenario here with no team or no anchor teammate that's playing on the outskirts to really give them the necessary amount of cover. All they can really do is just wait for the impending end as team was just raining ordnance after ordnance here. But what really came for the surprise was the fact that as Zen Esports was coming in to get those loot, then Savage Man came in aggressive. They found those kills, they found those heads, and even in this 2v4, I'm still baffled at the fact that they were able to win on this fight. But then again, it wasn't like a 2v4 head-on, right? Savage Man Esports was in a situation where it was always at 1v1, 1v2s, especially like that car crashing in, right? 1v2, they had a nice cross angle setup as well. So they had all the they already had everything really preset for them for that final fight. And I think that was really amazing.
Oh yeah, I love the setup. I love the coordination. This shows their experience, right? Being an OG team, they know how to come up with situations like that, even though the odds was against them at some point. But they stayed calm, they stuck with their plan, and they did it. That brought them 13 total kills for Savage Man Esports, followed by Oka Terra with 5, and then we had GSW with 6, and Shadow Esports with a whooping 9 still. So these guys, again, in the shadows, slowly climbing up.
Yeah, really well fought. They really earned that win for themselves. Yes, they really scaled their save forward. 25 smokes actually speaks a lot. It's Miramar, right? I think it's something to be expected. A map like Miramar to utilize this many smokes, because you just want to really traverse the land. You don't have the vehicle, especially once we get towards the later stage of the game. Smokes really comes in clutch. But then at the same time, Savage Man, they won so many fights. They just wipe out like 2 or 3 squads before that. They just pretty much just replenished whatever resources that was lacking. They just really kept themselves forward. Shadow Esports also I wouldn't say really a rough patch. They came in a little bit later into the circle, but they were able to just still find out those fights. Even in the most unlikely positioning, they're still making sure they're just going to be earning something out of it. No placement, unfortunately, here, but 9 kill points. That's more than enough to just really maintain their consistency in that ranking alone. Alter Ego was able to earn a little something. NRSG also stepping up. No placement, but 7 kills. That was great seeing that nice fire. But I guess it's because we were playing on a map which, that's been out for many years now. Miramar and Irango being the 2 OG map here in the PUBG esports scene. Definitely everyone's very familiar for it, for sure. But now look at the total leaderboard. I see there's any massive changes here.
Interesting enough that Shadow Esports is still behind GSW, but that's also because GSW did decently well but the point gap is not that big, about 3 points between them. At the very top, a slight gap between Vega Esports and also Oculus now, just by 5 points. So again, not that significant. The bigger one is that if Unlucky can actually leapfrog over Oculus, it's quite a gap there. So they have to do a lot better in the coming rounds, including tomorrow as well, for them to go up the chart.
Yeah. But you know, that's the top half, right? Like, if we're talking about the big change for the bottom half, that's Savage, man. 16 all the way to the 10th place. Because we were saying, like, how close all of each of their score points within at least their rival squad or rival teams that's literally ahead of them. It was not that far apart. The gap wasn't that huge. So really one good game and a substantial amount of kill points for the addition on top of that as well, allowed them to get from the 16th place to the 10th place. That was really, and I mean really much needed here. So that puts them in a good spot. We still have one more map to go, by the way. It's going to be the map of Erangel here. So that's probably going to be the map where you start seeing teams really come online. I'm hoping to see NRSG to do the same. I love that they actually really put in much more action here, especially for the map of Marama. We might see the same thing for some of the other teams, especially for the final map of the night.
Yep, but before we head on to the final map of the night, we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. Be back for the last game of day number 2, week 1.
We've seen a lot together. And we're just getting started. No limits on land.
5 minute में last game आने वाला है.
No limits on loot.
It's gonna be ranked. आज का last game.
No limits on survival. Your destination for next level PUBG game modes. PUBG Unbound. You're gonna need a bigger helmet.
a new out-of-this-world game mode, destructible terrain on Erangel, and some new gun attachments. All this and more as we dive into the Update 41.1 patch report. First up, there's a new threat to Miramar, and this one commands an extraterrestrial army. In PUBG's newest game mode, Xenopoint, you and your team will fight back against the invasion.
Savage Men Esports came off a chicken dinner and they're telling everyone, don't write us off yet, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the PUBG Masters Series 2026 Phase 1. And we're down to one last game and we're going to come back to the OG map of Erangel. My name is Sir Cloud, together with my wonderful buddy here, Mr. Leonard Yolo Lee, who will be a storyteller for today. And how do you make up the day so far?
Well, honestly, I've been feeling really good about this, especially since, you know, it's 5 games tonight, 5 games tomorrow night, top 5. Yeah, if we go by PMS and PGC points in total for this for every week, right? We go by the standing along. Top 5 is literally the position you want to go for. So I think when you come into a night like this, right, especially like what we've been experiencing for these past 4 matches now, right? You come into a night like this for a lot of these teams, you don't, and I really, and like how I feel and exactly how I see it as well, you don't see the teams having any more those kind of nervous feelings anymore. In fact, they just might feel a lot better coming to night number 2 as they really, compared to as they did in night number 1, right? You get that feeling that in the lobby now. So a lot of these teams now really have a good understanding of how the lobby is playing out, what they need to do, either improve the lobbies playing out, either improve upon or keep going at the pace, or they're just really going out the team as they are really doing well. And this is exactly what we've been seeing for the past 4 matches now. Teams that was previously in the bottom 8 are rising up the ranking. They're doing exceptionally well, some more obvious than others. Though, of course, the one that has the most massive shift naturally will be Savage Man Esports, where it only took 1 game alone for them to rise on the rank from the 16th place to the 10th. But then again, at the same time, it is also because the point difference between most of the team above Savage Man Esports isn't too far apart here. So there's still a chance for some of the teams at the bottom bracket to really scale up, especially for those the teams who had set a decent foundation for themselves in night 1 before finish off in our final map of the night, which is going to be Erangel. Of all the maps, by the way, even though we only have 5 matches, which means only 1 match will be having its duplicate or will be played for the second time, and naturally it's going to be Erangel, a map that all of this team is very comfortable with. They're also proficient with it as well. Is it their favorite map? This one I'm not too sure, as teams also have their own preference, right, Sir Cloud? But this is a really great map to really close in the night, because one, not only is it very familiar to a lot of these guys, this also gives them a chance to really just go all out for this final match to close out for night 2.
Oh, and here's a summary of our Erangel top performers. So I'm Bot with 14. Alec, of course, has been performing well today as well with 12. And we have Empty with 10 and Runux with 9. So a lot of familiar faces here on our overalls that show up. Oh, again, Alec at the top. I mean, this is a reflection of his performance, not only even today, right, but even yesterday as well. This guy has been really, really consistent.
I mean, definitely for sure. He was previously part of Decimal Gaming or Team Aurora from the previous PMS. If you guys know, the Oceania team as well, was also on an absolute tear, right? We didn't see much of him in most of those rounds, but I'm glad to see that this is the one Master Series where he's going to be playing for every single round, and he's really showcased like the years of experience and the veterancy that he has in the PUBG scene is absolutely phenomenal. Really happy about this. Also with TD as well. Unlikely duo. TD and yeah, unlikely duos.
But look at this. This is probably an unlikely meetup here for Snipehall. Oh, and Shadow Esports, they know that he's there. They're surrounding him. Pretty much no way for him to go. I mean, he's not loaded up as well. Okay, here they come.
Oh.
Kabals.
Nice knock.
The stairs. They lose that one, waiting for the trade-off to happen. And they will.
Really great as well. couldn't afford to lose one of the members this early into the round. I mean, you can always go for the res, especially since since Nightfall was the only one alone in that current location at time as well here. So if you could forego the res, that'd be great. Just simply pick him up again. Now you got a full 4-man squad once more. A great first blood opening for the side of Shadow Esports, who's been on an absolute tear for these past few matches. Now, actually, even in previous matches from day number 1, they were also doing really great, but not as fantastic as Night 2, as I mentioned before, where no longer we see like the teams showing that kind of nervous feelings anymore. Now everyone's a little bit more accustomed to the lobby. Everyone's very more comfortable. Like, have a better understanding. Philosophy-wise, I don't think everyone has the same philosophy. Actually, maybe they do, in terms of just going on an absolute tear, just earning more points as much as possible before getting into that final night. But other than that, it's great to be back in Erangel. Love the map.
Oh, yeah. I would pick this map over Miramar. So I would have a different answer than Contra. Yeah, now we have 2 votes. Sorry, Contra. You're outvoted right now. But Lunan outplayed everyone in the previous match, earning him the man of the match with 8 kills in the game. And of course, the chicken dinner to come with it.
Yeah. They really bide their time, but at the same time, when it's necessary to take those fights, they just went for it. But you can also feel the urgency in their gameplay in this map of Marama as well, where this second last map, there's only 5 matches per day. They haven't really made much massive progress, so you can definitely feel the urgency in that fight, really biding their time, not letting the nerves get to them either way as well. Really calm and composed, but still really well done securing those fights. Even those crossfire setups actually I guess they didn't expect to see the vehicle crash in such a ideal position for them to actually set up that crossfire setup. But either way, still really well done. Now we see Armor Esports. They also had a really great, day 1, much slower in the first few matches. Then when we got to the few last matches of the night, that's when we start seeing them really come online. Hope to see them really bounce back about this, because they did drop quite a bit from their previous ranking from night 2 here, at least. Sorry, from night 1 to compared to day 2.
Well, we have Alter Ego here on a chase right behind another team. And looks like they will push them forward. Oh, but we switch over to Zen Esports at Oculus. Oculus with the high ground. And here comes AR. Spraying down. Able to hit his target, but will it be enough for him to get a knockdown? The answer is no, not yet.
That's unfortunate. But hey, it's a good attempt. Not gonna deny it.
Oh,
whoa! I did not see that spray coming in. I thought the POV that we're gonna be witnessing was just him trying to shoot out the UAV, but no. Instantly got mowed down here. Courtesy of Alter Ego here, who naturally also trying to close in that gap, but they are taking quite substantial losses. They lost Queen, RDK is knocked down, Seymour is trying to find an off angle here, they're trying to go for the flank here, but I think safety first, priority first as well. We'll literally move from the fight, but first things first, just to let you guys know, guys, we got a G-Coin code right here, right now. Quickly screenshot about it. We have an action currently happening midway here, so write it down. Screenshot, do what you gotta take. This is your third chance to get that G-Coin, courtesy of Crafton. Thank you guys so much for giving our fantastic viewers and team and fans of the teams an opportunity to earn a couple of G-Coins for themselves in the game. But yes, Sir Cloud, back to the midst. It's been pretty crazy for Alter Ego's Ancient right now.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'm kind of busy right now. Give me a sec.
Hey, that's not fair.
What do you mean not fair? We get to see it too.
Yeah, but someone has to. I can't multitask.
Well, the ones that need to multitask right now is going to be Alter Ego. It's either they shoot or they drive or they do both at the same time, and they have to decide. Wow, so much to multitask. I mean, that's what it takes to be a top team / top player.
Yeah, that's why I'm not the pro player.
Yeah, then that's why we're here talking about them.
All right. But later. Okay, no, I can't multitask. But send me the screenshot later. Okay, send me the screenshot. I didn't get time to screenshot. Missed the opportunity. But anyway, yes. Back to the matter of hand. After that confrontation, we're back to a more silent round. Don't think Zanshin really want to, despite the man advantage, they didn't really want to push forward. We do see the emergency pickup coming in. Orca heading straight to the center part of the circle. And instantly gets spotted out by NRSG. one of the members of Orca already made landfall here, so should be able to give a decent amount of cover. NRSG don't really feel the current location they were in was a good spot for a fight. Play a little bit more safe. It's the last round. It's the last match of the night. Let's see whether they can try to achieve a little bit more from this here. Two newbies or so is having their back against the wall with one member short at the same time. It just makes this a lot more harder for them. Same goes for Alter Ego. 2 members lost. Let's see whether they get a chance to revive the 2 follower allies later on.
Oh. And now they're being sieged down. Nate Center to the 2nd floor. Damaging Drake. Down to 50% of health. Stun grenade as well. They're just waiting for the right moment to just rush out into the 2nd floor. But they still have utility, so they're going to try to flush out the 2 players of Alter Ego Esports. And Gmon forced to get into the bathroom to hide away. And lucky enough, he did so.
Oh yeah, when in doubt, close quarter with the S6.
Nice.
Pulling the clutch. Oh, good spot from Trick from the window there. That's going to be a knockdown to even out the odds, but there goes the shotgun coming through. Simon goes for the double knock. Can he get the third? Unfortunately, that's just not enough. The body shots are not connecting for the headshot that he was looking for. Sly, Zenshin will come in to stay alive and will be the team to tuck Alter Ego into bed at this night and give them a good, well-earned rest. Tucked in them nice and tight.
While that, they celebrate the 4 eliminations cleanly done onto Alter Ego. And unfortunately for Alter Ego, though, they are part of that middle pack that the points are close enough for them to break into the top 4, but because of this early elimination, then, well, they have to wait again for tomorrow.
Yeah. Especially after day 1, they had their time in the sun here as well. They also had some live moments as well in some of the matches too here. So not much change in the ranking. They're still going to be maintaining that 6th place, but I think they're fine for it for now. It's not to say that it's too much of a significant lead. Ideally, especially if you want to try to farm that PMS point weekly, right? And that PGC, if you're able to just get yourself within, okay, ideally it's the top 3. But you can get within the top 5, it's still pretty okay as well. But Erangel, there goes the longest kills, courtesy of Pibby. It's always the bearded people, man. Love to have a beard. Can't grow the beard. I think it's an Asian thing.
I know, right? I can't even grow a hair that long, so don't even think about the beard. But anyway, look at this. 2 teams or 3 teams still spending time in the pool, and the circle is not helping them. Goes all the way to North Yoruba.
Oh, that is insane. What a circle to, by the way, what a circle to receive, right? And how the positioning of the circle as well for the final map of the night as well. A lot of team is pressured for positioning. They know because there's no other access, right? You can only go for the east. You can't go for the south. It's just a bridge. I guess you could swim across, but if there's any team playing around the beach area, well, there's nothing much you can do once you're in the water here. So everyone is just booking it. Just gambling on the fact that maybe they can just get through, don't suffer too many losses. They don't want to waste any more time. Not to say waste more time, it's just for the fact that they can't go in too late here. Get in as early as possible before it gets too congested here.
But look at the amount of teams coming in for the right side.
Oh, Savage Man. Sorry, not Savage Man. VG and Shadow Esports.
Yep, and Vega Esports. They coming in for the right as well. And looks like they will just zoom past by. Not interested to take this fight on the outside of the circle. They rather take point inside of it. But on the other side, we do have Zen Esports here. Together with Alcatera. Looks like Alcatera, they'll be happy on the lower ground, so they'll be okay. They're on the right side. Look at the amount of teams there.
I'm surprised everyone's still alive. Wait, maybe I spoke too soon. This team is going to retaliate. No. Dude, you know when I'm sorry for cutting you on, dude. I saw like a whole bunch of vehicles at the eastern side. I thought someone was going to get dropped there, but apparently not. We're back to the center part of the island here, where now it's NRSG and ATO going head-to-head with each other. Shadow Esports also joining in the fight here from the eastern side. And NRSG looks like they were able to find some success in this fight. And before ATO can even retaliate, Shadow Esports is also pincering them from the other side. And that's just to mark the end ending for ATO, the second team to be removed, and we'll also have a good rest for the night. But then again, ATO, phenomenal performances so far that you've been showing us. You're also able to improve the ranking as well.
But this fight's not over yet, though, between Zen and Alcantara.
It's feel like it's a very quiet one, right? I think they both recognize each other within the vicinity. Just like, probably a couple of pot shots here and there. But other than that, I don't think any of these two teams intend to really crash into each other anytime. So this is a very weird location where Zen is a great defensive, but they can't really push down. That's going to be walking to Alcantara. Alcantara also has a nice spot to keep them on the mountain, but they do not really want to scale up, not while Zen Esports has the high ground. That's why you pretty much see Bombay has this nice flanking maneuver, but it's also constantly being kept checked by another team towards that eastern side. So, a very weird situation here. But it looks like Dip coming in. It looks like they really want to clear out Zen Esports.
Dip! Oh, Dip lost that 1v1 when he had that preemptive strike. Oh, man. It was just so unfortunate. Already too many body shots as compared to the headshots from his opponent. Switching over to AJ. AJ has to get away. He has about 10% of health left. But in his vehicle, he looks okay so far. Circle update.
Oh.
Goes all the way to the northern side of North Yogopol and the right side of Zaki.
Oh, okay, fine. It was to be expected as well. Like 9 out of 10 times, that circle was definitely going to be shifting to the north side. If it did shift down south towards Georgia Port, let me tell you something. That is going to be a very interesting location for our final fight. But anyway, we're going to get the open fields here, forestry. Not much dish to work with here, but what a spray coming from None. That's the headshot you're looking for. You get on top of Alec as well. He's knocked down. Don't think, Orglis is going to forgo Alex. Say no. Alex said, carry my spirit on. Move forward into the circle. There's just too many people. We need good spots. Unlucky. Got a nice compound for themselves here, but might see them to make a rotation shortly, though. Still at the edge. It's very hard to see whether the circle will go to favor them for the second time. Monk outside of the zone, trying to gatekeep a couple of the other team, but gets spotted up by Empt on the other side. But the Mini 14, very on point for that. So lock him down. Hopefully keep him down for a while. Just enough time for the rest of VG members to get across safely.
And now Monk.
Actually, wait, no. He's going to go for the finish. He's going to go for the clear.
Oh. Just going for it on the outside of the circle, okay? I'm bot. He does have backup behind him though, but looks like a bit of a risky move, but he's cooking up his nade.
Oh, Mora?
We'll check on them later because now Mora attack onto Savage Man Esports.
That's not a spot you want to be in. You get some form of cover, but you're still out of the open in the flatlands. Mora is coming in. More teams is slowly going to be able to find an instantly pivot again. Gets a nice Mora. Going to be able to knock down two. Defensive smoke comes in, but they just need to see where the next Mora is coming in. Does he still have ammo to follow up with this? Whereas on the other side, Orkless trying to recover from this fight. Happy's got beautiful nade, by the way. Good exchange as well. Gives a little bit of a breathing room for Mando to try to go for the revive, but I guess he decided to stop halfway. More nades are flying in, trying to set up more defensive smokes. Nades are landing, are connecting, courtesy of Monty. Orglas is out of the picture here. And that all comes down to unlucky at GSW, or maybe with Shadow Eastwood to close in the gap here. VG sees an opportunity to extend this lead a little bit further to try to solidify themselves to prep for that final night tomorrow.
And the circle will shift again soon. Let's see who will be on the outside of it. Right now,
I think it's gonna
Esports.
Yeah, it's gonna go to the center part. I think it's gonna go towards GSW. Yeah.
As you predicted.
It's more like a feeling, right? It's like what I mentioned before. It's like 9 out of the 10 games. You're probably not gonna get that unfortunate circle here. So. But still find some of the teams are still going to be able to traverse in. Savage Man definitely. Savage Man and GSW. I think these are the two teams that's going to try to capitalize on the benefits that they managed to get for themselves. Yeah, GSW in particular feels a lot more safer with the compound that they have. Savage Man, so there's a lot of hills. But once more team starts really positioning themselves in the, at least the outskirt of the current position of Savageman Esports, they're really going to be pinned down. There's not going to be a lot of options for them either way. Just pretty much very similar to Team Newbies. They do have one vehicle left that still has wheels. The other one is, the other one's out of commission for now. There's not much option here. They can only just buy the time and hope that no team decide to crash upon them. Savageman, not Savageman, VG is currently keeping their attention on top of Mong. Mong is gonna be doing a little bit of the duel's gambit here as they make their way into the circle, tanking shots after shots. One too many shots. Hopefully they'll be able to get to the spot in time here. It looks like they barely sustained much damage here, so they should be fine for now. But a couple of vehicles are somewhat smoky here, so gonna reposition themselves. Did they drop down a couple of defensive smokes? I don't think not. A knock comes in courtesy of Xiao Feng. That's definitely going to be putting a little bit of a wrench in the plans here. Courtesy of Armored Esports. Also going to be joining in the fray. Got a really nice vantage point too here. So now begins the reign of ordnance. And Unlucky intends to clear out this current position. A beautiful nade connecting on both Monty and courtesy of Sunny side. And now a flanking maneuver coming in from Unlucky. More nades are flying in, forcing Happy Squad out of the positioning here. Arjun Bots trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel for the rest of the team to bounce back from this, but now they're slowly being pincered out, but from multiple angles here. This could spell trouble here for Happy Squad.
Oh, but Unlucky, they still have to find a way through. They had to punch through Happy Squad somehow. The time's not on their side. Clock is ticking down. The zone will be closing in. Happy Squad, they still have 10 trip, and Arjun Boss will, make that only Arjun Boss right now. 10 trip is down. Arjun Boss down to 50% of health. And Arjun Boss tries to fight back, and he shot. Does connect on the Runex. And Unlucky, one more person to go.
Nice, Molly.
Arjun Boss 50% of health still. Moves forward. Tries to get the spray on with the AUG. He almost gets it. He's getting very close right now, but oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Who stopped him? It's Gordy that got him.
Yeah, that's all you need, right? That 1v1, that headshot is so crucial for it. But then again, they say, kudos to Arjun Bots. That 1v3 fight situation was absolutely spectacular. Could have been the best closing for the night if he actually managed to get the knockdown Gordon and just seal the deal there and then here. But other than that, really great job coming from Happy Squad. They're going to be able to have a good rest. Going to be closing the night with the 8th placing for now, unless Zenshin or Armor Esports or Savageman Esports has something else to say about it. Because Happy Squad, like the point differential between Happy Squad and the bottom 4 teams in the ranking here is just merely 6 to 8 points. 6 to 9, 6 to 8 points was easily able to be converted over for sure. So we'll just see how well the round goes. NRSG still in the game here. Got 2 kills, 4 members healthier. Definitely intends to try to farm a little bit more. And VG will be the first team to hit the triple-digit scoreline, 100 points. So relatively healthy. They got a decent spot for themselves. It's only Armored Esports now. They still have the vehicles here, but which side will they try to traverse through? They go to the east. There's a lot of sound cues there. That's pretty much why they sent one of the members to really scout things out first. The western side could be a little bit of a viable option here, unless Armor Esports intend to crash into Savageman here. But fights ensues. It looks like Unlucky still can't really catch a break anytime soon here. But looks like Unlucky is going to be able to clean things out against Team Newbie here. That's going to be another additional point for themselves. 7 kill points on top of that. Unlucky has 2 members knocked. Need to try to go for the reset. Yeah, can't really catch a break. But this is the last match of the night, so teams are really going all out for this one.
That includes Crazy Dog from the side, getting synced down onto the ground. But now position compromised. He's on the lower ground though. He's trying to finish off Sync to lock in that elimination point. While his teammates on his way, RZRZ going towards Sync. But then again, Crazy Dog back this point, and now RZRZ. He's pretty busy though. There's another team in front of him, so he can't go for the revenge.
Ordnance Slowly trying to get a feel of the situation here. But instantly, it looks like the one that's going to be ending the conclusion of this duel is going to be Orca-Terra, courtesy of Kunyit here. And a nice headshot on RZRZ. So there goes Zenshin. Now the teams are slowly dwelling down. We're slowly approaching towards our final four here. And Army Esports looks like it's going to go toe-to-toe with Savage Man. These are the two teams that are currently trying to fight for rankings here. Either one of these two teams is going to get the benefits of this unless someone's going to be able to third party, but I don't think that's going to be the case. The next team that's closer to them is going to be Terra, but I'm not sure whether they got a field of vision of them just yet. Suspect gets a nice knock on Lunlun, one of their main fraggers as well. Same goes for Savior. Savage went down to the 2v4s, but then again, they have been in this spot before, just like the last Mirama. Can they pull off the exact same miracle or the exact same play as they did before? I don't think that's going to be the case. Zanshin gets spotted out, removed from play, courtesy of Orca here. Upchen trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel here. It is 1v4 armor, sorry, 1v3 armor closing in, not allowing a single get window of an opportunity. There goes Savage Man. And Armor will take this opportunity to keep themselves in the ranking and climb up further. Coming on the other side, we do have GSW. Now they're boxed in. It's going to get against VG. Sorry, not against VG. NRSG. We do have VG within, like, I guess you could say good neighbors to each other, but most of them are not really trying to engage anytime soon.
But they have to make a decision because they are the closest to the blue. Right? They have already hopped onto their vehicles, so they're deciding on whether they want to avoid this fight or not. And it looks like they will. They're taking this risk, going through the other side. But one of the players currently down. That's going to be aimbot on the ground, and Xiaofeng will finish him off.
Oh, nice. Energy down कर दी.
That is insane. NRSG decides to go in for the flush. Couldn't find angle, couldn't find the shots they were looking for. They'll be removed. And while this fight was happening towards the north side, we missed an opportunity to see what happened to the other side. And it looks like Orca-Terra trying to make up for the previous match to secure that chicken dinner. Now they're back into that top four by removing Armored Esports. And Unlucky was also not able to maintain to that, was not able to keep themselves to this final fight. VG down to the last member standing. GSW, one member knocked. Orca-Terra still in the safety of the circle, by the way, and now trying to reposition themselves. And that's what we couldn't for the off flank. VG gets spotted out, and now we're down to the final two teams here in this 3v3. If they can get the revives here, then it's going to be, they will be able to at least tip the scales back in their favor in terms of man advantage here.
Phase 6 and we have only two teams left. This is the quickest round so far.
Super bike.
And Orca-Terra, they have the middle of the circle. They have 3 players active. GSW, some of their players still on the outside.
4v4.
Man, Orca-Terra, they have a big chance of locking in this chicken dinner.
Oh yeah. Really want to make up from the last round, from the last match of Mirama as well when they had the man advantage here. So
control bhi hai.
This time back with the play. So this is really great for them because they were at they were previously at the bottom, at least the bottom 10 of the ranking here. Sorry, the bottom 6 of the ranking. Now they're able to scale all the way back to that 9th place here. 10 kills. They already got the second placement. It's already somewhat secured. If they can get the chicken dinner, this makes this even more better. Back-to-back top 3 placements for Orca-Terra. That's a lot of points that they were able to achieve for themselves here. While Kunyan had the idea to try to flank, the same goes for Zeno as well. Boxed in Kunyan, unfortunately as well. Literally, multiple fronts here. He thought he had the advantage of flanking, but Zeno caught him to the race first here. So there goes one member. Now it's down to the 2v4. GSW. They had this. In yesterday's game, they had secured a chicken dinner for themselves. Not much progress happened after that, but they were still consistently trying to climb up to scale up their leaderboard. Now is a chance for them to really bounce back for this, or at least close in the gaps in the ranking for that top 5. They have the numbers. They have the firepower. Now they just need to get that lines of sights in.
From having a decent chance to score this chicken dinner now, looks like the tables have turned towards GSW with a full squad and they managed to breach into the circle. And they're pushing back Orca-Terra to the corner. Now we still have phase number 8 though, but then again, GSW, maybe they're not interested to wait for phase 8. They want to finish up the job right now. They don't want the circle to favor their opponents. Xiaofeng went forward just to be gunned down by Dip.
इसको ADS देना था continuously. इसी की तरफ से था प्लेन. Left से नहीं आ सकते ये लोग.
Oh, still pretty close. By the way, sorry. Apology. Correction. No chicken dinner for the side of GSW. Potentially their first chicken dinner. But they have been, at least in match 1 for the first 3 matches, top 3 placements back to back here. So this is the chance for them to really try to turn things around here. First chicken dinner, same goes for Orca-Terra. They missed a chance in the last map in Marama, even with the man advantage here. But then again, this time they tend to have their back against the wall. Dipped, they roughly have a rough idea of where's the rest of the team. The problem is about this is that GSW has a really nice flanking, or at least this crossfire setup here. Any player that's any members of Orca-Terra would pop their head out. Is it going to be bombarded by 3 separate angles here? A headshot is required. Now this is going to be the long game here. GSW has no reason to push forward, nor does Orca-Terra as well here. So we might just be sitting this out at least until phase 8. Might even be phase 9.
Oh, we'll see who will be favored by the zone in phase 8 now.
But you see,
goes to the middle. Yeah.
No difference here. So that's why I say it's most likely going to be that probably the end of phase 8. We might see a little bit more confrontation.
Upper hand ये तेरा का ये जो zone के अंदर बंदा खेल रहा है इस पे.
No one is willing to give a free win here.
Definitely not.
Dipshit को mostly
both teams definitely could use the chicken dinner. But I guess like what you say, right? We're gonna wait till phase 9 till anything significant happens. Nobody's willing to make that move.
Now it seems like Zeno waited long enough. He says, nope, I'm going in. They still had the man advantage. They could afford the aggression for this. He pushes forward successfully. Now he gets a really forward position. This might force Orca-Terra to be in a little bit more of a panic situation.
Nice nade.
They lost intel. They found the nade perfectly landed by Jing. That was a 1v3. There's no reason to hold themselves back. Zeno attempts to push their way in, conquering one ditch to another. One remain, gets tagged. Now he knows exactly where he is. Now comes in for the flush.
यार दोनों half FP बच गए. Easy chicken है, flash है ये. Nice.
Really well done, really well deserved. Even in day number 1, where they couldn't secure that chicken dinner, they still able to get that top 3 placement in 3 matches in a row here. So with a lot of kills, especially like 11 kills to 3 kills to 6 kills, it's really great coming from GSW. So earning this first chicken dinner for themselves, this is really going to put them in a really nice spot in the ranking here at least. But Orca-Terra, back-to-back high placements, second placements by the way. This is also gonna basically this round alone, this final fight was really beneficial for both of these 2 teams here. But other than that, all the squads did their last hoorah for this last match on night 2 here. Some more satisfied than others to prep themselves for night 3. I love to see the fact that we don't see that exact same performance, or at least a more improvement of their performance here for night 2 to set themselves up for the final night of week 1. So very satisfied with a lot of fights so far.
Oof. And most of the fights actually happened when we saw a lot of teams like rotated into the circle from the right side in, and it was pretty chaotic at that moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and during that rotation, like a lot of teams just got eliminated. They drop out like flies at some point.
It was to be expected, right? The circle kept shifting towards that northwestern side, and it just kept going there even towards the final few phases of the circle. And most of the teams, someone also understood that not only were their entry into that safety of the circle was very limited, right? It was only the eastern side or the bridge. Naturally, if you were to weigh out your options, the eastern side feels a lot more doable compared to going through the bridge from the side of Georgia Paul here. So it's a lot more better, it's a lot more safer. At the same time, a lot of this competition started, a lot of these fights was happening a lot more earlier because just for the fight for positioning, there's barely any compounds. Even it almost feels like a flatland here. There's a couple of ditches, a couple of hills, but it's only limited to a small area of that circle here. So teams it was just an absolute bloodbath for Control, starting from the eastern side, slowly makes their way from the north, when there's that only one lone compound, but that was all the way until phase 6, right? Now phase 7 onwards, teams start making their way into the circle, setting up smoke trails, playing around smokes, playing around corners, playing around vehicles, trying to get that kind of advantage for themselves before we lead to this final fight between Orca-Terra and GSW.
Yep, and at the final moment, we can see the proactive move by GSW. They're done with it. Yeah, they don't want to wait for like, oh, okay, the 9th phase. Nah, we don't deal with the pressure of the 9th phase. We just end it and we can go for dinner.
Yeah, no, it was a really good call as well. There was no reason for them to buy their time, right? So there are 2 members that was having really great flanking angles as it is, really. So just needed one of their teammates to really try to flush them out, see what's the actual plan. They know exactly where they were, they just didn't know where they were positioning in. So first person had a forward position, the next person follows up with it, and then next thing you know it, all it takes was just one player to really just show himself. But they didn't really get to show themselves. Orca didn't really get to fight in that last fight. Jing actually naded him out of commission here, so that already put them quite in a very perilous situation. But of course, this is your top 4 teams, stats, and matchup.
Yep, besides GSW and Orca-Terra, we also have Unlucky here with a total of 8 kills, and also Vega Esports with 3 kills, still able to meet the top 4. So good work by them. And this is also the round that they breached the 100-point markers, right? And I believe that they're the only team to have more than 100 points at this moment. We'll, of course, get a confirmation after this, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for that. If that is going to be the case, then, well, they continue to have that gap at the top between themselves and anyone else.
But overall, you know, we've seen, especially for the conclusion of a night number 2, everyone really stepped up to the table. Even the teams that was in the bottom of the ranking from night 1, and those 2 being NRSG and Savageman Esports. Naturally, of course, the one that's shown the greatest change probably will be Savageman Esports. One fantastic good game, insane amount of player kills on top of that. Really allowed them to scale out from the 16th place to the 10th. Everyone else was also battling for the spot. Even NRSG couldn't get a placement for one of those matches, but still walked away with 7 points, trying to try at least get that consistency out from themselves to at least set up for that final night. So everyone just really battling for spots that night number 2. It was really great coming from a lot of teams. You don't see that kind of nervous plays or that hesitation anymore. Everyone was just really going all in for that. But anyway, this is our winner chicken dinner for the team stats, and that's going to be GSW achieving their first chicken dinner. They couldn't secure it in night 1. 2 times they missed, actually more like if you count the third top 3 place, yeah, 3 times they missed the opportunity. The first and third match they got 2nd place. Their second match in night 1 was 3rd place, but hey, they managed to secure it, and it's of course naturally going to be on the map of Wrangle for themselves. Man of the match is of course going to with Zeno, the aggressor, constantly putting pressure on various teams where they were going hit there, at least for this past 5 matches now here. So really well done. 4 kills, 4 knocks. They were very meticulous, especially for this last match.
Yeah, and that's a big amount of damage for the amount of eliminations that he get. But it's all about teamwork at the end of the day, right? He could probably be the one that, okay, if I can't finish, at least I deal the damage and my teammates pick up those points. So that works as well. At the end of the day, yes, it is a team game, ladies and gentlemen. So congratulations to GSW and Zeno picking up the chicken dinner and also man of the match for the final game. Now, when it comes down to the points, 3 teams score a double digit. So it's going to be GSW, Orca-Terra, and also Unlucky with a double digit. Well, we have 4 unfortunate teams not getting any points at all, and that includes Oculus.
Yeah, it was again, it's just one of those situations when you get this kind of circles and you just have to take those fight head on. And Oculus, I believe, in one of the mid rotation, there was a very good spray for one of the members to actually knock down Alex. So they were losing members even before the fight started here. So, but you know, this is the kind of risk when you're dealing with those kind of circles, right? You just know just by to make those rotations. There was definitely going to be teams. This is a wrangle as well, right? It's the kind of map where you are somewhat about. It's the kind of map where you can try to play for edge, depending on the nature of the circle, you might have to change out your game plan. But with that being said, with the performance as well, GSW will be getting back into that top 4. Unlucky, able to maintain their stance here. I think this is the strongest I've ever seen coming from Team Unlucky as well. Or at least this roster in particular in the history of the Master Series here. So really well done coming from them. VG maintaining their top spot alongside with Orgless. Not much change there. Shadow Esports, phenomenal gameplay. That's going to earn them to that 5th rank. Monk is going to be moving out from that 8th to the 7th place. Happy Squad still going to be there. Orca Terra. Let's be honest, it was Orca Terra, NRSG, and Savage Man Esports that was really doing God's work for themselves for night number 2, right? Compared to night number 1, their performances was a little bit lackluster. Now they're up in that ranking here. Orca Terra in particular, because they had 2 matches, which was top 3 placement or top 2 placements here. So that really earned them on that enough points to really get all the way to that 10th placing. And with it to be our today's record, who's going to be the one that break the record today for damage dealt? Coming in Circle Cloud.
That's going to be our man, Alec. We did talk about him during the start of the show, and he maintained a good level of consistency, and now he is the highest damage dealer of them all, followed by MT and also Aimbot, both of them from Vega Esports. But we also have another representative, well, it's pretty much the same person, which is Aimbot with the most amount of kills here with 24, and Alec at second place with 22, so that's still pretty consistent and very nice for him. And we have Runex from Unlucky at 3rd place in the amount of kills collected, which is 20. For average survival time, well, we have Joe here representing GSW, and again, Alex shows up, and also Aimbot. So Aimbot and Alex, both of these players